6.
And then what am I going to do? Run away.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are around the world. Welcome to Le Mans, and welcome to finals day at the 2026 Rotax Max Challenge International Trophy. This is the second biggest Rotax event anywhere in the world, next to the grand finals. And Jen Wade, Eric Ellis, we have had, let me count, 2.5 days of incredible qualifying and heats action. This morning and this afternoon, we whittled down over 350 entries to the finalists, 36 in each class. This afternoon, one driver in each of our categories gets a ticket to the biggest party in world karting. The stakes could not be higher.
No, that's right, Henry. And of course, we started in the evening as well for qualifying. It's been a really long, tough week for everybody. Yesterday in the morning, everyone was quite calm. I think that was the first night they had a rest. And then they were like, okay, now it's really getting serious. Eliminating, obviously, those that are not going to make it on the grid today or have to really try to get those points in the superheats.
Yes, now Jen will be down in pit lane doing pre-race interviews, and then for the finals you're going to be on the grid getting the final words from the drivers before they go. For a lot of them will be the biggest event they do all year because there are only 6 tickets available. While Jen is getting the lowdown on what the drivers are thinking, Eric Ellis and I will be in the commentary box. Eric, the French weather has been superb. The circuit looks le magnifique. We're just now hoping for some amazing driving.
Merci Henry, merci Jen. Oui, effectivement, la météo a été française, elle a été belle, il a fait très très chaud aujourd'hui et hier c'est un petit peu mieux. Et aujourd'hui on est dans le money time parce que comme le disait Henry, eh bien c'est les choses qui comptent aujourd'hui puisque on a éliminé une partie du plateau et ce matin il va y avoir les super manches et cet après-midi il y aura les finales, seulement les 35 plus rapides qui n'auront qu'un ticket à aller chercher dans chaque catégorie. Donc comme le disait Jen, l'intensité va monter et on va sentir la pression monter au fur et à mesure de cette journée. Il fait beau, les pilotes sont prêts derrière moi. Ce que je vous propose, eh bien, c'est tout simplement de découvrir le cadre de cette manche du RMCIT ici au Mans, le circuit international de karting du Mans. On découvre tout de suite le circuit en images.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is the look of the dummy grid. Mini-max for the super heats of the day. Thank you very much for joining us here on the 3MK Events YouTube channel. You're watching a WFR live TV production of the RMC International Trophy from Le Mans. Minimax, 36 drivers, every single one will make it to the main event. They have scored points during 3 heat races. This is the super heat, where you score nearly double points. There was 50 points for a win in a heat race. This super heat, the winner, 90 points. So every position is worth more. And at the end of the super heats, the combined points total across all heats and this race will be used to decide the grid for the main event. In DD2 and junior and senior, where we have 72 drivers left, well, in the case of DD2, I think 67, but in juniors, we had 85 entries, 13 drivers went home last night. In seniors, there were 126 entries. After a couple of withdrawals and a few in-meeting exclusions, 120 drivers completed the heats. And 48 drivers from 73rd place in points on back did not even make it this far. And already, as you can see, Robin Räikkönen is stuck on pit lane, and there he goes. And I have to say, that was Toby George from Sam Pollitt Racing who was running over to Räikkönen, and Räikkönen races for Kart Shop Switzerland to try and get that kart started. Good sportsmanship there, but I think the problem for Robin Räikkönen is bigger than anyone can fix right now, because Räikkönen's kart has died on the start straight. He's desperately trying to get it going. Has it fired? Has it fired? Yes! Yes! The young Finn stroke Swiss stroke Italian driver has finally managed to get the 191 kart running. Here is a quick look at the starting grid. You're looking at them coming down the Technopark straight. It's Joshua Cook and Paul Plattner-Giram from Austria on row number 1. Charlie Page and Corey Lyons, row 2. Austin Oman, Robin Räikkönen will not start from row 3. He will start at the back, but he will start. Then it's Dian Singh Pahal, Jan Wozniak, Sebastian Behrman, Ralph Martin, Timon Gergic, Alfie Garrett, Teddy Murphy and Albie J. Stubbs. This race will be 9 minutes plus 1 lap. It looks like Sandro de Oliveira and maybe Jamie Septia have not gone out either. So we're down to 34 runners. Räikkönen in the black and white kart has joined the back of the field. Somebody else is stopping on the outside of pit lane, Eric, but we're about to go racing.
Allez, c'est parti dans cette première super manche. Non, ça n'est pas parti avec un faux départ. Alors attention, il y a un pilote qui est arrêté là-bas à l'entrée du paddock. Alors est-ce que ce serait... Alors, est-ce que Robin Räikkönen, qui avait des soucis de carte, a pu repartir, redémarrer? Non, il a encore des problèmes.
Oh my goodness me! Oh my goodness, our pole sitter, Joshua Cook, is in trouble. And there's 3 karts slowing down. The number 196, Albie J. Stubbs, is slowing down. This can't be. It can't be a return of the spark plug issues and the oiling up issues that we had in one of the junior races, because we've got our pole sitter crawling round. Albie J. Stubbs has stopped on the entrance to turn number 3. Robin Räikkönen is in trouble again. That kart is not firing properly. Albie J. Stubbs is walking away. Josh Cook, the pole sitter, is sat in his kart. Gabriel Wallet has pulled his number 150 kart back into pit lane. Arthur Fero has stopped as well. This is incredible, Eric, and there, the Cookie Monster will not start this race.
Allez, des rebondissements là dans ce début de Super Manche Mini avec le poleman Joshua Cook qui a été obligé de ranger son kart sur le bord de la piste avec un problème. On a eu un autre kart qui s'est rangé et toujours Robin Raikkonen qui tente de composer avec un kart récalcitrant. Les pilotes Raikkonen, Cook qui était sur la première ligne, Raikkonen qui partait depuis la troisième ligne en 6e position. Eh bien tous ces pilotes, et Raikkonen ça ne s'arrange pas. Il est arrêté sur le bord de la piste. On va devoir certainement... Oula, ça c'est quand même assez chaotique. Voilà, il a redémarré, mais dès qu'il ralentit, eh bien son kart non, il rentre au stand. Allez, c'est parti. C'est parti avec cette course complètement folle avant même le début de cette épreuve et un départ totalement raté, me semble-t-il, pour Charlie Page.
Oh, and a problem at turn number 1. Paul Plattner-Giran made a great start. 3 karts to the outside of turn number 1. One of them is a Praga kart. Can't see the number. It's the 105 of Timon Gergic. He is going, but... we have lost a whole host of drivers. And now Pharaoh has got into the pit lane. That's very smart driving. Pharaoh went into the repair lane and has obviously got that kart hopefully fixed. That is a little bit of luck and some great heads-up driving from young Albert Pharaoh. Unfortunately, Cook and Stubbs, their karts ground to a halt at the other side of the circuit. Meanwhile, on track, we focus on the drivers that we have got. Otis Cleary's in trouble, but Paul Plattner-Giran leads at the end of lap number 1, or does he? No, he does not, because Austin Oman in the number 121 for Sam Pollitt Racing has taken the race lead.
Allez, c'est tout de même parti, évidemment. Il y a une course qui se déroule et c'est désormais Austin Oman qui est le leader après le premier tour bouclé en tête par Paul Plattner-Giran qui s'est fait dépasser par le pilote britannique et qui maintenant commande le peloton au moment où on rentre dans la ligne droite du Technopark. Mais alors que de rebondissements dans cette course mini, dans cette super manche mini. Derrière, ça s'explique au freinage du virage du Technopark, mais il me semble bien que Austin Oman va boucler un nouveau tour en tête, le numéro 121. Ouais, voilà qui est fait avec désormais Corey Lyons et Alfie Garrett derrière lui.
Well, Robin Raikkonen, like Albert Pharaoh, managed to get their kart to the repair area on the outside of the final corner, where Robin's mechanic has obviously rectified the situation. Robin is back on track. He is a lap down. However, he's in 30th position. We've got 2, 4, 6 retirements already. Now 30th place points, that could be crucial for Robin as he tries to hang on to a place near the top 10 on the grid. On track, there is your race leader, Austin Oman, and Corey Lyons is having a hero's week here. That young Irishman in the Midnight Blue Daily Motorsport number 141 kart has been an absolute superstar. Also, Alfie Garrett up into 3rd position, and Teddy Murphy, they qualified 35th and 36th, and now and that was in the heats. They started each of their heat races on the 18th and final row of the grid, and they run 3rd and 4th. Plattner-Giran, Behrman, Martin, Wozniak, Fulbrook Harmer, and Oliver Meredith, 2 Irishmen in the top 10. Then it's Bring the Noise, Keish Moyes, Michael Klinjajacic, then Gustavo Oliveira, Tristan Abiels, Timotheus Pieta, Charlie Page down to 16th, followed by Hansler, Jakobsen, Pahal, and Janicjevic. There's your top 20. And Oman is pulling away ever so slightly. Oh, the number 122 kart has stopped. That's Otis. Well, Otis Cleary, he's trying to fix his own kart at the side of the circuit. Fair play to young Otis. He is not allowing the marshals anywhere near his kart, because if the marshals touch your kart, you're done. I think it's a forlorn hope, but you can't fault his effort for trying.
Allez, Austin Oman toujours aux commandes et qui commence à s'échapper légèrement. Alfie Garrett est désormais en deuxième position. Corey Lyons et Teddy Murphy sont à la poursuite des deux hommes qui sont devant eux, des deux pilotes qui sont devant eux. Et Corey Lyons a fait la jonction sur Alfie Garrett. On va voir ce que ça va donner. Peut-être une attaque dans la ligne droite du Technopark pour Corey Lyons, le numéro 141, au volant de son kart à dominante bleue. Corey Lyons qui s'est fait donc déborder et qui va tenter de reprendre sa deuxième place alors qu'on boucle un nouveau tour, toujours sous les commandes de Austin Oman devant Alfie Garrett, Corey Lyons, Platner Geramb est 4e, Teddy Murphy 5e, Burman 6e, Meredith 7e, Fulbrook 8e, Martin 9e et Mitch en 10e position. Voilà pour l'instant cette hiérarchie tout à fait provisoire.
We're looking at Alfie Garrett in the number 103. He's driving for the Sony kart team, so a French team, British driver. Alfie's dad, Luke Garrett, will have driven the Le Mans Bugatti circuit before because he is a driver in, I think, is the FIA European Truck Racing Championship, is Luke Garrett. And so Alfie, well, this is a much smaller wagon than the Garrett family are used to, but Alfie is wheeling it. Then there's Lyons, and then you have Platner Geramb, and is that Austin Oman running wide? It is. Oman, the race leader, has run wide all on his own. He must have just clipped a curb at the wrong angle. Garrett now leads from stone last in qualifying. Garrett leads. Corey Lyons from Ireland is running P2. I said he's having a hero week. This could be the stuff of legends if Lyons could get on terms with Garrett.
Allez, changement de leader avec cette grosse erreur de pilotage d'Austin Oman à la réaccélération du dernier virage. Il est parti au large, il s'est totalement raté. Et de fait, c'est Alfie Garrett qui est aux commandes avec dans son sillage Corey Lyons, le pilote irlandais. Et ensuite, Platner Geramb revient sur le podium virtuel de cette super manche. À mon avis, on n'a pas vu l'essentiel de ce spectacle parce que l'intensité va monter. On est à 2 minutes 10 secondes du terme de ce temps réglementaire, plus le tour additionnel.
2 minutes to go. Garrett leads from Lyons. In the tournament, Lyons a little bit late on the brakes there, gets the cart crossed up. That's going to cost them a little bit of time. Here comes the chasing pack. Platner Geramb, Murphy and Oman. Teddy Murphy, another driver, having a storming run for the Sam Pollitt racing team. As they go through turns, wait for it, 6 and 7. There you go, boys and girls. I've said it. Out towards the banking. There's the move for third place. Oman back into P3. He's got to shake off that mistake. He has shaken it off, and now he's motoring back towards the front. Corey Lyons, take a bow. Lyons leads, but only for about half a metre because Garrett comes back, and now Lyons is offline. This is where experience or lack thereof at this level comes into it. Lyons has now lost 3 places. Up into second has come Teddy Murphy, and around the paddock I can hear the ubiquitous scream, "Go on, Teddy!" Oh dear, well go on, Paul, because Paul has just monstered Murphy going into turn number 3. And it's chopping and changing, Eric. 50 seconds to go.
Allez, il reste 45 secondes à parcourir dans le temps réglementaire. On sera donc dans le dernier tour. Pas tout à fait, peut-être pas. Allez, grand maximum. Il reste 2 tours à parcourir dans cette super manche mini avec encore du spectacle et encore des rebondissements. On l'a vu avec Corey Lyons qui a tenté de prendre le leadership et qui s'est fait contrer. Et instantanément, il a perdu 4 positions. Et de fait, maintenant, eh bien, il a du mal à revenir dans le groupe de tête. Il est en 6e position, si je ne dis pas de bêtises. Ouais, 6e.
Alfie Garrett now under pressure. Oman is back up into P2. Make that P1. Well, Austin Oman led convincingly, made a mistake. And as the clock strikes 0, he has fought and worked his way back in to a winning position as Charlie Page sets a new fastest lap. Page has just cracked the top 10 after starting 6th, getting involved in an incident on the first corner, dropping back to 20th. He now is 10th, the reigning Micromax International Trophy champion. Through turns 10 and 11, it's Garrett Oman, Sebastian Behrman having another storming run in the number 137 kart for Sam Pollitt Racing. Then it's Paul Plattner-Jerram, Teddy Murphy, Corey Lyons runs 6th, and Oliver Meredith in kart 102, privateer entered driver according to the program. Meredith, like Lyons, is having the run of his life. There he is in the 102. And the Irish are working together. Here we go into turn number 3. Plattner-Jerram, Lyons to the inside, smart driving, and Meredith can't quite follow him through. Now Lyons is going to get squeezed. This is a great battle, but it is for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. And as they head out onto the banking, too wide onto the banking, look at Meredith taking it high, wide and handsome. Meredith into the top 6. What a run!
Allez, les positions de pointe, elles, sont attribuées, mais derrière, c'est une grosse bagarre là au freinage du Technopark. Avec, on se demande qui va en sortir vainqueur, mais a priori, ça serait plutôt Meredith qui était plutôt bien placé. Allez, on va savoir. Pendant ce temps-là, Oman a gagné et Meredith est bien 4e. Oman s'impose devant Garrett Bierman, Meredith, Plattner, Fulbrook et Murphy. Charlie Page est 8e. Et où est passé notre ami Corey Lyons? Corey Lyons est 9e derrière Charlie Page.
Well, I don't have the up-to-date point standings on our screens, but Austin Oman started this race 5th. I'm looking around. Paul Plattner-Jerram finishing 5th. Corey Lyons on the last lap slipped back to 9th position. Austin Oman has done himself a huge amount of good there despite that mistake, but it's not about mistakes, it's about how you recover from them, and Oman recovered very, very well to take the race win. Garrett 2nd, Behrman 3rd, then it's Meredith, Plattner-Jerram, Jack Fulbrook Harmer, and Oliver Meredith finishing 6th for Fulbrook Harmer, up 11 places. Oliver Meredith gained 16 places, but he's not even the biggest mover, because the biggest mover of all was Bring the Noise, Kees Moyes, the Dutchman, 11th in the results from 29th on the grid. So let's have a look at some highlights, and then we'll be back down to Jen Wade on the grid.
Allez, on est parti dans cette super hit du côté des DD2 Master, là encore avec eh bien, une intensité qui va monter au fil de la matinée, hein, puisque les points qui vont être marqués maintenant vont être déterminants pour la place en finale et surtout la place sur la grille par rapport aux points récoltés. Et ça peut faire toute la différence, puisqu'on rappelle que cet après-midi, toutes les finales eh bien, ne consacreront qu'un seul vainqueur. Ça, c'est évidemment, c'est le principe même des courses. Mais cet unique vainqueur eh bien, décrochera son ticket pour la grande finale qui aura lieu du côté de Portimao à la fin de l'année. Donc d'où l'importance eh bien, d'être bien placé sur cette grille de la finale, d'où l'importance de bien commencer cette matinée de samedi en réalisant une superbe super hit et le meilleur résultat possible. Du côté de cette grille de départ, eh bien, on va retrouver Jack Dex, le numéro 645, qui aura à ses côtés Nicolas Claes, le pilote belge, le numéro 602. Ensuite, on retrouvera Zugela, l'Argentin, Fillenbach, Gravouille, les Maxime et Alexandre Gravouille qui vont composer la troisième ligne. Cusack-Picot avec Seguin, Romkema, Michelsen, Capitaine, Knoppes, Mange, Watson, Guté, Schwab, Chaumier, Billings, Perto, Vonzanok, Antier, Chinuili, Jensen, Mavrovil-Chelakis, Billings, Vermeulen and Chili for the last, pour la dernière position sur la grille. Voilà, je me mélange un peu les pinceaux, mais bon, c'est pas grave, vous avez compris. Au moins, on a eu la composition de la grille. Voilà, les pilotes qui se présentent sur la ligne de départ. A priori, oui, c'est validé. Avec Jack Dex, donc en pole position. Oh, qui se fait tasser par Nicolas Claes, mais c'est derrière, c'est Filkenbach, me semble-t-il, qui a pris le meilleur départ.
What a start from Alex Fielenbach. Jack Dex gets caught napping a little bit, I've got to say. And firstly, it was Nicholas Clay who went round the outside to take the lead. And then Fielenbach just decided, shall I brake for turn number one? Not now, not now. Now I'll brake, as he went round the outside to take the lead. And Fielenbach, for the Kraft Motorsport team, has gone. He is up the road already. Clay second. Jack Dex in third. For how much longer is Dex in third? The answer is not much longer. Dex in the MS kart for his own team, the only team owner driver here. He moves in while Stan Peck's the only one of two owner drivers here. There's Dex and Clay signaling to each other saying, okay, we've got a bigger fish to fry. It's a German fish. It's Alex Fielenbach. They're going to try and work together.
A tasty fish.
Yes.
Allez, Fielenbach qui est aux commandes de cette super hit DD2 Master et désormais
c'est... Sorry, there we go. Who was that getting turned round?
On a une sortie de piste. Alors il est où le pilote? Il est
check the number. I think that might have been it's either Alexandre Gravouille or was it Roman Monge? Let's have a little look. It was Alexandre Gravouille.
Alexandre Gravouille qui est malheureusement parti en tête à et encore une fois un problème là sur le kart.
Oh dear!
Wow, il est où là? Il s'est arrêté. Ça y est, il est parti au bout du virage du Technopark, mais malheureusement la course s'arrête là. Alors on n'a pas eu le temps de voir le numéro, mais il me semble que c'est
Nicholas Clay from second on the grid. He led into turn number one. I've got to say that replay will show that it is true what they say about men. We cannot multitask. Nicholas Clay cannot try and steer a go-kart and put the NASA panel down at the same time.
Alexandre Gravouille qui rentre malheureusement au paddock suite à ce problème. Et un accrochage encore avec deux pilotes ici à la sortie du double droite des deux arbres. Pilote évidemment qui n'est pas content. On s'en douterait. C'est le numéro 658. C'est Andro Perto, le pilote Tony Kart, le Slovène, qui malheureusement s'est accroché avec un autre concurrent et qui a perdu pas mal de temps. Pendant ce temps-là, lui, Alex Fielenbach, lui, il est au-dessus de tout ça. Il surveille la remontée de Jack Dex, mais pour l'instant, le Britannique reste encore à distance respectable, un peu plus d'une demi-seconde, 640 millièmes d'écart entre Fielenbach et Jack Dex. Charles Seguin est pour l'instant en troisième position, mais attention, ça remonte derrière lui avec Zugela et Maxime Gravouille qui sont en train d'effectuer la jonction sur Charles Seguin.
Well, already this morning in Minimax, it was mechanical issues costing some of the front runners their chance of victory, not just in this race, potentially in the main event itself. In DD2 Masters, I've got to say, it's a little bit of driver's impetuosity that has cost Nicholas Clay and Alexander Gravaway, 2 of the top 6 starters in the superheat, have eliminated themselves in an accident. They will be starting much further down the order than they would have. So Fielenbach and Dex, who are now joined at the front, they are 1.2 seconds ahead of Charles Seguin. There's Fielenbach and Dex. Seguin, then Maxime Gravaway, followed by Gabriel Zugella and Ricardo Romkima, returning to the Rotax fold for the first time in a long time. Romkima, well, just goes, form is temporary, class is permanent. He is 6th ahead of Cusack Pico, Nicholson, Von Zanok, Capitan, Schwab and Monge. Sadly, Steve Vermeulen, the Belgian driver, did not take the start, and now Jack Dex begins to work his way around Alex Fielenbach. Fielenbach, with 6.5 minutes to go, has to make a decision. Do I defend now? And look at that hand signaling there. Jack Dex says, no, you push. Fielenbach goes, okay. So we shouldn't see Fielenbach defending. And Jack Dex proves, in karting, DTA. Don't trust anybody, because one straight after Jack Dex goes, no, don't defend, push, I'll work with you. Dex just slots one up the inside, going into turn number 3, and takes the lead.
That's the British spirit.
It's,
in a way.
Yes,
In a way.
It's very British indeed. Follow me, my good man. Oh no, I'll follow you. No, you follow me.
Et attention, attaque de Maxime Gravouille sur Charles Seguin également pour le gain de la 3e position. Voilà, ça s'anime en tête de la course. Donc on plaisantait évidemment sur la stratégie de Jack Dex qui dans le tour précédent avait dit à Fielenbach, vas-y, passe, roule, je te suis. Et en fait, il a planté une attaque dès le 3e virage. Et confirmation, hein, Maxime Gravouille est passé devant Charles Seguin. Maxime Gravouille qui maintenant va tenter de revenir sur le duo de tête et pourquoi pas aller embêter Jack Dex et Alex Fielenbach. Mais pour l'instant, il reste encore un petit écart à combler, un peu moins de 8 dixièmes d'écart entre le duo de tête et Maxime Gravouille. Charles Seguin est 4e, Zugella 5e, Romkema est 6e, Mikkelsen 7e, Cusack Pico 8e, Von Zanok 9e et Capitaine en 10e position.
Down the back straight, looking at Gabi Zugella with the blue nose cone. That's the Barrichello kart nose cone. Barrichello kart, part of the Birrell ART family of chassis. There is Zugella being chased by Ricardo Romkima, Mikkelsen, Von Zanok, and the rest. Dex and Fielenbach. Well, now Alex Fielenbach, he owes Jack Dex when he says, okay, I'll store that one in my memory. And to be fair to Alex, he is thinking, right, Jack, I will follow you. I know that you tricked me into not defending, and that's cost me the race lead, but 4 minutes to go, I'll follow you. Depending on how close he can follow him, because Jack Dex is looking very, very fast indeed. And to be fair, Fielenbach will be thinking to himself, okay, now I understand. Dex was quicker, and this is better for Fielenbach, believe it or not. He can just follow and get in the slipstream of Dex. Dex is the quickest. If Fielenbach was leading and Dex was trying to push him along, then Maxime Gravaway, who is not a million miles behind him, there he is, flashing through your screen. Gravaway could and probably would have caught them. Fielenbach can sort of follow in Dex's wheel tracks, and Dex should, Fielenbach hopes, pull him away from any of the threats. However, Gravaway, the surviving Gravaway brother for Kart Pro Racing, also looking very, very stout so far this morning.
Allez, la jonction est quasiment faite pour Maxime Gravouille sur Jack Dex et Alex Fillenbach, avec un trio maintenant qui va peut-être s'expliquer pour la victoire. Il reste moins de 3 minutes dans le temps réglementaire, plus le tour additionnel. Derrière, Charles Seguin continue de lutter pour éviter le retour de Gabriel Zughela, le pilote argentin, et Romkema qui est aussi pas très loin. Donc attention, Charles Seguin qui va avoir une fin de course assez complexe pour essayer de maintenir à distance Gabriel Zughela et conserver les points de cette 4e place dans cette super manche. Ça va pas être simple parce qu'on voit sur certaines parties du circuit que le pilote argentin semble un petit peu mieux que le français. Du côté du trio de tête, ça y est, la jonction est faite, mais pour l'instant, pas d'attaque. On reste derrière Jack Dex pour Fillenbach et Maxime Gravouille.
Into virage to Technopark. Fillenbach closes back in on Jack Dex. Gravaway is there as well. Behind them, Charles Seguin, Gabi Zughela. Then this battle, in fact, Zughela has dropped back a little bit. It's now Seguin and Romkema, Von Zanok, Zughela, Mikkelsen, Kusak-Pico, Capitan and Schwab, all in a group from 6th back to 11th. Jerome Schwab, the only other driver, there he goes, the number 605 kart across your screen on an MS chassis. Behind Schwab, Jimmy Chubier, Roman Monge and Antoine Antier. Jamie Billings having a really good run in 15th position. His dad Ron Billings is 21st. He sent Gary Chu down in 24th. Olympos Mavro Mikhailkis is 22nd. Andre Pertot, Ron Billings, Harold Watson down to 20th. The showman, Harold Watson, not having a great run. But here's Gravaway. Gravaway has caught Fillenbach and Dex is gone. Dex is up the road.
Et on le voit sur l'image, Maxime Gravouille qui harcèle maintenant Alex Fillenbach, et Fillenbach en défendant évidemment laisse filer Jack Dex vers la victoire. On est à 47 secondes du temps réglementaire, donc ça veut dire qu'on est dans les 2 derniers tours, et Jack Dex c'est bien parti pour aller pour le pilote britannique pour aller chercher la victoire. Et derrière, attention aussi, Charles Seguin qui est désormais sous la pression de Romkema, qui a pris le meilleur sur Zughela. Von Zanok est passé également par rapport au pilote argentin. Mais pour la 2e place, Maxime Gravouille n'a pas forcément dit son dernier mot. Voilà, on le voit, Fillenbach qui ferme la porte, freinage intérieur, freinage défensif. Mais Gravouille qui reste sur sa ligne et qui pour l'instant continue d'imprimer la pression sur le pilote allemand. Pour l'instant, ça n'est pas fructueux, mais à mon avis, je pense qu'il attend le dernier tour, me semble-t-il, Maxime, pour porter une attaque définitive. On est d'ailleurs au terme du temps réglementaire. On va donc, dans quelques instants, rentrer dans le dernier tour. Il reste un tour et demi à Maxime Gravouille pour trouver l'ouverture sur Fillenbach avant que derrière, on revienne. Regardez, Charles Seguin et Romkema qui sont quasiment revenus au contact du duo qui est devant eux.
On to the banking, and the move isn't on just yet, but Gravaway, coming off the banking there, Fillenbach gets his line a little bit wrong. Gravaway almost runs into the back of him. Now Fillenbach defends. The clock has struck 0. Here comes Charles Seguin on the Sodi kart, number 626 to the party. Last lap, board goes out. Jack Dex leads commandingly by 2 seconds. Fillenbach checks over his shoulder. Then it is Gravaway, Seguin, Romkema, Von Zanok is there as well. And here comes Ricardo Romkema. A little bit into the back of Charles Seguin. Just a little love tap. And we managed to emerge unscathed. Out half a lap to go. Dex by 2 seconds.
Allez, Jack Dex qui se dirige vers la victoire au bout de la ligne droite du Technopark. Et puis du côté de Fillenbach, on a fait l'effort nécessaire pour maintenir Maxime Gravouille à distance, ce qui fait que le Français n'a pas pu attaquer le pilote allemand. Et du coup, Fillenbach va aller chercher la 2e place, Maxime Gravouille la 3e et Charles Seguin en 4e position. Von Zanok termine 5e.
Jack Dex takes the victory. Fielenbach second, Gravouet, Sagan, Vonsanok, Romkima, Zugela, Mikkelsen, Cusack Pico, and Christophe Capitan. Well, the job is not done yet for Jack Dex, who finished runner-up in this event a year ago. 2 years ago, he was also in contention for victory. Fielenbach, another annual contender. Gravouet, Sagan, and Vonsanok. Vonsanok, the Birrell ART Baltic driver. Vonsanok got his ticket at the International Trophy Asia, the Kyrgyzstan driver on the Energy chassis. So this is good practice for him.
Down on the pre-grid, Micromax, Ethan, one of the mechanics. What's your driver number, Ethan?
11.
11. Okay, so we have Samir?
Yeah, Samir.
Samir, so he's going to be from the United Arab Emirates?
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Okay, I think we had a little bit of a... He's shaking his head. He's like, why are you talking to my mechanic? No, we're not going to give away any secrets. One thing I wanted to ask, it's been a really big week. How have you guys coped with this? Because of the heat, extreme heat, we had to change several times the timetable. So what kind of things have you been doing? Because a lot of people have only joined us today on the live stream, so maybe you can tell us.
Obviously, the previous days we've had like the breaks, the heat. In the morning it's a bit cooler, and then in the night it's even cooler. So obviously that affects how you set up the car as well. But our qualifying wasn't as good as we thought we'd be. But in the heats we've done really well, and we've managed to get ourselves up to P6 for this. So let's see what we can do there.
And of course, such a good little grid, lots of new drivers, but also lots of drivers that we already know their names. You know, they've been racing. Is there much tension, do you think, like nerves, even for the kids, or they just want to get out there and drive?
I think they just want to get out there and drive. Obviously there's some rivalry, as there always will be. They're racing at the end of the day, aren't they? So everyone wants to win.
What about being here in Le Mans? I mean, as a mechanic.
As a mechanic, it's great. It's got so much history here. It's just such a great place to be.
We're going to say good luck, let you go, get your position. Thank you so much, Ethan.
Well, thank you very much. Is a look at your starting lineup. Jayan Prakash, undefeated so far, in a dominant way. He will lead the field to the start. Jules Chech on the DAP chassis. From France, on the outside of row number 1, Arthur Bowers and Albert Farrow on row 2. Alex Noah Mohabrab and Samar Chopra, whose mechanic Ethan Jen just spoke to, starting on row number 3. Lenny Barton and Elias Zojic. Then Sebastian Crawford and Arlo Gamble. Bobby Slater, the younger brother of Alfie Slater, and Freddie Slater. And Caden Handley on row 6. Benjamin Shlivar and Arshi Gupta, the young lady from India, on the 7th row of the grid. And she was fastest until the final 10 seconds of warm-up this morning. Watch for young Arshi Gupta. Freddie Baker, Albert Sanya. Then Leo Harang, Jensen Kelly, Rudrapatrap Shekawat, Kian Hay, Franisek Malik, Wraith Owen, Arthur Rhodes, Yessa Moonan, Amicio Zani, Logan Edwards, Adam Dion Asp, Chloe Sorensen, Harry Tylay, Nilas Winter, Pierre Capel, Luis Gwedson, Ismail Ali, and at the back of the field, after missing yesterday's heat race, Adam Al-Sheikh. Watch for the XL Motorsport driver, number 55, coming from the rear of the field. There he is. He will be El Rapido.
Et c'est parti pour cette super manche micro avec Prakash aux commandes de la course, avec derrière lui en deuxième. Oh là, attention, là ça va loin pour Jules Chech qui a été un petit peu aidé pour aller à l'extérieur de la piste dans le premier virage là, et qui se fait déborder le jeune pilote français, alors que pendant ce temps-là, eh bien Prakash lui maîtrise son sujet et s'installe aux commandes de la course. On va voir ce que ça va donner pour le reste de cette super manche. On rappelle que Prakash reste sur un carton plat puisqu'il n'a jamais été battu dans cette catégorie.
Out of turn number 9, through turn number 10, JM Prakash, his mechanic Dave Tooley, they have been dominant. The problem they have today is the fact that there are 34 drivers in this class. 33 of them know how dominant JM Prakash is. 33 of them know that if they give JM Prakash clean air at the front of the field, then JM Prakash will wave goodbye and they are fighting over second. So there are 33 drivers. Oh, one of them spins. It's the 47 of Lenny Barton. Barton up in a 4th position, spins at turn number 1 for Strawberry Racing. He's going to have to try and fight back his young Lenny, only 8 years old. What can he do? But of course, JM Prakash, Arthur Bowers, he will have been told, get amongst him, house him, because no one has got the pace to just follow and battle. You've got already Prakash easing away. If you don't get JM Prakash into a scrap right from the start, then you're fighting over second. Jayan will be aware of that, and so he will react accordingly in terms of tyre pressure, in terms of setup. Across the line, it is Prakash, Bowers, Mogabgab, followed by Crawford. There's Sebastian Crawford, and if you notice, you think, that's a strange looking race suit. Yes, Sebastian Crawford wearing the brand new Aero suit by Danro. First time we've seen that at a major Rotax event. It has divided opinion, however, Crawford is motoring and is up into P4 ahead of Albert Farrow, who at the grand finals in Bahrain last year won the Micromax class on the road, had a penalty post-race, but he knows how to win the big events. There's Albert Farrow. Jules Chetch drops to 6th. Elias Zajic, Arlo Gamble, Caden Hanley and Samar Chopra are your top 10. Arshi Gupta is already at one more place. She's up to 13th.
Allez, c'est Ryan Prakash qui va couvrir un nouveau tour. Voilà qui est fait en tête, le leader avec Arthur Bowers, Mokagab, Grafford, Farah et Chetch dans son sillage. Alors qu'il y a, il y a un petit, ouh là 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 là, ça a été chaud là.
Crawford.
Yeah, Crawford
in the aero suit, getting some air.
Yeah, tried to take off, but it was not successful.
Voilà,
donc Crawford là qui s'est un petit peu raté là, qui a escaladé la roue du kart qui était devant lui et qui a dû aller à l'extérieur et qui a perdu évidemment quelques positions dans cette manœuvre qui devrait peut-être profiter à Jules Chetch pour gagner un petit peu de position. Le Français qui s'est fait un petit peu malmené au départ et qui va devoir maintenant cravacher pour revenir aux avant-postes. Il est dans le groupe de tête, mais pour l'instant, eh bien, il va falloir cravacher. Voilà, on se retourne dans la ligne droite du Technopark avec Albert Farah qui regarde qui lui met des petits coups de pare-choc derrière. Eh bien, justement, c'est Jules Chetch qui est derrière le Britannique.
Yeah, there is Prakash, followed by Bowers. Then the third and fourth place carts, Farrow and Chetch. Chetch sets the fastest lap of the race, 60.585. That's actually 4/10 quicker than Jayan Prakash, the race leader on this lap. Jules Chetch, he has got some power in that kart, I tell you that. Now I'm trying to see who is providing the waft for Jules Chetch. I think that might be a Force Motorsports graphic on the radiator. I stand to be corrected, but he is pushing Farrow up to Bowers, and Bowers, well, I told the story yesterday, yet last year Arthur Bowers, his mum was one of those trolleys that you keep your tyres in, that you keep your food in, and Arthur Bowers was curled up in the trolley asleep. This year he's battling for a ticket for the race win. How much progress has that young man made? And he's closing in on Jayan Prakash. This is something we haven't seen. Oh, and that is the number. It's the Birrell ART. I'm looking to see who that is. Is it the 24 kart of... it is Leo Harang out of the race.
Et Bowers qui a attaqué Prakash. Bowers qui est passé. Changement de leader et Jules Chetch également. Derrière a semble-t-il pris le meilleur sur Farrow. Donc attention, ça s'anime en haut de la hiérarchie en tête de course avec ces duels à distance entre Bowers et Prakash et ensuite Chetch et Farrow.
Well, Arthur Bowers does something that no one has been able to do again. Not only has he been able to close in on Jayan Prakash, he's been able to pass Jayan Prakash. For how long though? Not long. Prakash with a Sam Pollitt Racing team easily slides back into turn number 1. The Virage de Restaurants retakes the lead. Here though comes the cavalry led by Jules Chetch. Albert Farrow trying to hang on, and Sebastian Crawford, after that little incident earlier on with Alex Noah Mogabgab, Crawford and Mogabgab have kissed and made up, and they're now working together in 5th and 6th position to try and close in. Here we go, on to the banking one more time. 2.5 minutes to go. We've got a 4-kart battle for the lead in Micromax, and that is not something we have said all week.
Allez, Bowers qui était passé en tête, qui a été contré par Jayant Prakash qui a repris les commandes de la course, mais ces petites passes d'armes entre les deux leaders a permis à Julčeš, et regardez Julčeš sans complexe qui plonge à l'intérieur, mais ça ne va pas passer. Si peut-être en deuxième position à la sortie du virage numéro 1, il est à l'intérieur, donc il va peut-être... Non, il se range en troisième position derrière Bowers, mais voilà, avertissement sans frais pour Bowers. Julčeš est là et il veut cette deuxième place.
Šeć going for the three-wide move into Virage de Restaurant, and we look at Benjamin Schlebar, the Sana Racing driver, has had a moment coming out of the Curve des Duchon. He drops down the order, the English domicile Bosnian heritage driver. Here comes Šeć again. No shortage of le guts for the Frenchman, Šeć, because he will send it to the inside. You give him half a chance and he will make a move. Prakash, though, has been able to stretch the advantage again. This is very tactical. Here comes Šeć to the inside of Bowers, makes the move. Jules Šeć now sets off after Jayant Prakash. I know the karts look a little bit similar, but they're very different teams indeed. The number 4 kart run by the KPR team. Šeć on a Praga chassis. Bowers for the KR Sport team.
Et on est dans l'avant-dernier tour, hein. Il reste 20 secondes à peine à parcourir dans le temps réglementaire, c'est-à-dire que lorsque Prakash va passer sur la ligne de chronométrage, on rentrera dans le dernier tour. Et est-ce que Julčeš va enfin mettre un terme à la domination de Jayant Prakash? On va le savoir parce que le Français est revenu vraiment sur un rythme très très élevé. Il a pris le meilleur sur Bowers au tour précédent. Va-t-il porter cette attaque au virage numéro 1 sur Prakash? C'est toute l'incertitude de ce dernier tour.
Last lap, Prakash having to defend. This is something we haven't seen, Jayant. Let's see how good is his defense. Well, a little bit of a hip and shuffle going off into turn number 1. Bowers into the back of Šeć. Šeć into the back of Prakash. Prakash emerges from turn number 1 in third place. Half a lap to go now. With the point situation as they are, I mean, even a third place finish for Prakash would still... Well, I'm not sure. I don't have the standings in front of me. Šeć, though, has the race lead. Prakash in third, and look in fourth position. Fero now joins the party again. We've got 1-2 opportunities to change the running order, and Šeć has the lead.
Julčeš dans le dernier secteur du circuit qui va certainement aller chercher la victoire devant Bowers, me semble-t-il. Julčeš qui rentre en tête et qui va aller chercher la victoire. Faut pas se retourner, voilà, c'est fait. Victoire de Julčeš devant Arthur Bowers, et Jayant Prakash termine troisième surprise pour cette super manche de la catégorie micro.
Well, there's the first big upset of the day. Jayant Prakash does not win the Micromax Superheat. Jules Šeć does, and I did notice that Sebastian Crawford, and I'm trying to see who else it was, collided at Virage de Technopark. Crawford drops to 20th. Oh dear, there is a look. Freddie Baker comes home, the Ritter Trophy champion, in 5th position. And for the Czech Republic, Elias Zozic, Alex Nomagabgab in 7th. Samar Chopra in 8th place, and I think Chopra set the fastest lap of the race. Yes, he did, 59.928. So I know that Jen Wade spoke to Samar's mechanic Ethan. Well, whatever Ethan did to the setup of Samar's kart, it worked. He finishes 8th with the fastest lap. Arthur Rhodes in 9th. Bobby Slater 10th. Archie Gupta 11th, followed by Arlo Gamble, Albert Sanye, Kian Hay, and Jesse Moonen. There's a look at the rest of the finishers as we grab a quick squint at the highlights.
And now we come down to the serious part for DD2 because some of the drivers are on the limit for points. Quick word with this guy, Enzo Boll. Hi Enzo.
Hello.
Tell me, how's the racing?
Well, yeah, so far so good.
And what about lining up on the grid with your team boss? I mean, it gets a little bit, difficult, doesn't it, I guess, when you want to overtake him?
Well, yeah, not too bad because, it's easier when you have your team boss in front, a good racer and a fast racer as well.
I think you're faster than him.
Well, I don't know.
Is there team orders?
No, not so far. So far so good.
So far, so good. Of course, we'll see what happens in the final. But yeah, good to see you here on the grid. I'm going to walk down a little bit here and let me have a look. Lewis Goff. Now, Lewis, I'm going to say you've got, good points, but you still need to have a good result now. What's it like on the grid here in Le Mans? It's been some pretty exciting racing up until now. The weather as well, a little bit hot.
Yeah, the racing's been alright. Had a bit of, but yeah, it's good.
And what about any sort of different track? We were talking earlier with one of the mechanics of the morning. It's cool. In the evening, qualifying was also a little bit cooler. Much of a challenge for the setup?
A little bit. It changes with the grip of the track because of the temperature and the heat. But yeah, nothing much changed.
No, it's good. Anyway, we hope you're on the grid for the final. See what happens. Alrighty. And of course, let me have a look here. He never wants to talk to me. What about in French? A little bit of French. Matteau, now, not as far up the grid as you'd like to be, but yeah, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what's happening and your chances to be on the grid for the final.
Ça a été des manches compliquées, mais voilà, on va essayer de ne pas tomber pour cette manche-là et de se qualifier. On est tout juste pour l'instant, donc on va faire ce qu'on peut.
Alrighty, so I've got to get off the grid soon. We wish you luck. Thank you so much. Merci.
Merci.
Alrighty. Now, of course, we've got Geordie, Belgian driver. How's it going? A little bit of away from the front, but still good racing?
Yeah, we had some bad luck with the quali. Now we see what we can do.
Normally we see your dad on the grid as well. But yeah, I suppose some of the drivers here, a little bit more experience, but you've also got quite good experience?
Yeah, we try to.
Yeah.
Try to learn as much as we can.
Yeah. And that's what this is about, I think, for a lot of the drivers. It's not about necessarily being on the podium, as much as it'd be great, but what you can learn, and so much experience here on the grid.
Yeah, it's a beautiful event.
Yeah. We love it. Okay, I have to move now. I can see the green flag. Good luck. Thank you. All right, and of course, half the grid, almost half the grid, will not be with us this afternoon. But for now, we have to wait and see. It's all about the points, and we've got Group A and Group B coming up, so every position will count.
Yes, Jen, if you're not, so the top 18 starters in this race and the next race, they are in positions 1 to 36 in points. So you're looking there at Daniel Carmona. He is 17th on the grid, 33rd in points. Matthew Ferrer, who is doing his neck strengthening exercises, he's 37th in points. At the moment, Matthew Ferrer is the first driver out of the main event. So in both these, in all the next 6 races, 2 in DD2, 2 in junior, 2 in senior, the top 18 starters are the drivers currently in the classification who are in the main event. There will be those who drop out, and there will be those who race their way in. Here we go with your starting lineup. Mark Kimber starts from pole position alongside Stan Pex, Emils Akmans and Edgars Vilkans, after a frightening flip yesterday, has been cleared to race, and he is out an all-Latvian second row. Enzo Bol and Nico Handke on row 3, Giorgio Amati, Leon Mandel on row 4, Alvaro Jimenez and Maxime Jallet, row 5, Vincente Marquez and Alessandro Padini Amati, row 6, Imke Arts and Alex Siegel, row 7, Donat Nemetvolgi and Lewis Goff on row number 8, Daniel Carmona and Gabin Desert on row 9. They currently are in the main event. Here is the list of starters in this race who need to race their way in. Mathieu Ferrer, Bendigez Sabo, William Antrobus, Ori Nave, Jordi Cleribo, Yannick Kiliansky, Nicholas Guillaume, Mac McGavelray. Kaliansky and Guillaume are not on the grid. Then it's Kilian Ferre, Axel Hoos, Mohamed Ben Amour, Corentin Franchi, Hugo Klabots, Theo Lemoine, Bo Ulrichs and Matisse Favris. And of course there's another group of drivers, another 34 drivers waiting to go out in the second of Superheat. This result affects their points as well and what they have to do.
Allez, le tour de formation emmené par Mark Kimber qui va donner le rythme de cette procédure de départ avec la première des deux super manches de la catégorie DD2, puisque derrière il y aura également une autre super manche, et évidemment au terme de ces deux super manches il y aura forcément des déçus. On a entendu tout à l'heure Mathieu Ferré dire qu'il était aux portes de cette super finale et qu'il avait des points à aller chercher. Il va faire le maximum pour cela et évidemment on va surveiller sa progression. C'est parti pour Mark Kimber qui maîtrise cet envol pour cette super manche. Et il reste au contact et derrière lui, eh bien, c'est Emils Akmans qui a pris la deuxième position. Stan Pex, lui, est un petit peu enfermé. Je crois qu'il est en 4e position ou 5e position, me semble-t-il. Stan Pex, le numéro 526, qui a un petit peu raté son envol.
Already, Mohamed Ben Amour, the only Tunisian driver here, spins at turn number 1 for the Sheepers Racing team. He will not make the main event. Up at the front, Kimber for the Jan Darms Racing team, stretching his advantage, looking for another ticket to the big dance, where he will go for a 4th Grand Finals title. There's a long way to go before we get to that point, however, but at the moment, Kimber leads Stan Pex. No, Kimber leads Enzo Bol. Bol from 5th on the grid up into P2. Akmans, Amati, Pex, Vilkans, Marquez. Vicente Marquez making good progress. Looking down the order as we follow the lead group through turns 3 and 4. Good start from William Antrobus. Starting 21st up into 18th. He needs to make moves. Going the other way, Gabin Desert, who was 35th in points, as we got a change for the race lead. Enzo Bol passes Kimber for top spot. Well, going the other way is Gabin Desert. He's down to 20th. Hanging on by a thread, Gabin Desert. That probably will not be good enough to make it to the main event. He was right on the cusp, but he cannot afford to lose places, which he already has. As the number 523 Sony kart driver, here comes Kimber again. Kimber, back to the race lead.
Allez, Kimber qui avait perdu la tête de la course pendant quelques instants au profit d'Enzo Bol, eh bien, a repris le commandement de l'épreuve avec cette manœuvre assez autoritaire, dirons-nous, dans le freinage et dans la zone de freinage du premier virage. Et Bol a dû s'écarter un petit peu pour éviter le contact. Mais en tout cas, c'est repris pour Kimber qui, de nouveau, eh bien, mène la danse. Mais derrière, vous le voyez, c'est très très serré avec Akmans, Amati, Pex, Stan Pex qui doit cravacher pour revenir. Et Edgar Vulcans qui lui aussi se mêle à cette lutte en tête. La physionomie de cette course est loin d'être établie parce qu'il devrait y avoir encore pas mal de rebondissements à n'en pas douter. On voit 2, 4, 6, 7 cartes quasiment roue dans roue.
Emils Akmans for Latvia, an MKC Motorsport team. The 554 kart, MKC Motorsport. Got Zendarua, a former Grand Finals champion in this class, amongst the driver coaching team. Bas Lammers watching on as well, as MKC Motorsport have been established as one of Europe's leading Rotax teams in any class. They've got the people around them, they've got the equipment, and they've now got the drivers as well. Giorgio Amati runs in 4th position in that yellow and black Infinity racing kart for Italy. Then it's Stan Pex, Edgars Vilkans, who must be feeling the effects of his flip yesterday. Obviously he's been cleared to race by the medical team here at the circuit, but still bumps and bruises because of course, yeah, you land with a DD2, lands on top of you on the grass, you think, oh, the grass might give a little bit of give. The grass is like concrete, such has been the heat wave here in France. Behind Vilkans is Nico Hanke, Vicente Marquez, Maxime Jallet, Leon Mandel. That is your top 10. Now I'm looking down. Alex Siegel from 14th on the grid has slipped back to 20th. He hasn't got much breathing space. William Antrobus has lost a couple of places. Mathieu Ferre has gained 2 places. He was 37th in points. He's up to he's up to 15th in this race. Can Mathieu Ferre for the RM Concepts team race his way in to the main event? As we look at Kimber sitting, watching, waiting to pounce on Enzo Ball.
Allez, pas de changement en haut de la hiérarchie avec toujours ce groupe de tête qui se dispute les avant-postes. Un coup à toi, un coup à moi, pourrait-on dire. Derrière, on a vu que du côté de Maxime Jallet, on était dans le top 10. Et derrière, eh bien, on retrouve Mathieu Ferre qui a gagné une position. Il est 14e désormais. Il était 15e. Et là, on l'a vu d'une façon très autoritaire prendre l'intérieur au virage numéro 3 sur son adversaire direct qui était autre que Lewis Goff. On va voir s'il a conservé cette 14e position au moment où les pilotes reviennent sur la ligne de chronométrage. Le voici, Mathieu Ferre. Voilà, c'est confirmé. Il est bien 14e. Maintenant, il faut aller chercher Hartz qui est devant lui. Mais vous voyez, peut-être si vous suivez l'image, eh bien, que le gap est assez important. L'écart est assez important. Il y a au moins 2 secondes à boucher pour Mathieu Ferre. En tout cas, garder cette position, c'est à minima l'objectif pour aller rejoindre la finale. En tout cas, il réalise le job, il l'a dit, il fallait faire le job. Et bien, il est en train de le faire du côté de Mathieu Ferre. Belle course jusqu'à présent. Il reste encore du temps. Attention, 4 minutes 45 encore à parcourir dans le temps réglementaire. Alors que du côté de la tête de course, eh bien, nouveau passage des leaders sur la ligne de chronométrage avec toujours Enzo Ball qui mène devant Mark Kimber, Emils Akmans, Giorgio Amati, Stan Pex, Edgar Vulkens et Nico Henke qui sont aux 7 premières places.
As we follow the race leaders, Gavin Desert has had a problem and falls back to 29th place. So the driver that arrived at the circuit this morning, sitting 35th in points, has dropped back to 29th in the race. That means he will not make the main event. It opens the door for at least one driver who started today not in the final to race their way in. There may be more opportunities, but Gavin Desert is the first of the top 36 in points this morning to fall. Who will replace him? It may not be a driver in this race even, but somebody will make the main event, having not been in the main event to start. William Antrobus has fallen back. Alex Siegel is another driver He has dropped from, he was 27th in points coming into today. He's now running 20th in this race after starting 14th. Will Siegel be in the main event? It looks very, very sketchy. Matisse Fabris is having a great drive, but he started so far down the points that he won't make the main event anyway. Daniel Carmona has dropped to 18th place. That's not great news for Carmona as we look at a couple of people chopping and changing. Stan Pex on the outside is run very, very wide. They crossed the line. It was Vicente Marquez in the number 514 cart that got involved. Pex is down to 9th place at the moment. 2.5 minutes to go.
Allez, il reste 2 minutes 30 à parcourir dans le temps réglementaire et Ball et Kimber ont creusé l'écart en tête de l'épreuve. On a également Maxime Gelé qui est en train de batailler furieusement dans ce groupe de tête et qui pour l'instant occupe la 6e position sur la ligne de chronométrage. Un petit peu plus loin derrière, eh bien, Mathieu Ferré est en train de réussir son pari. Il avait fait le trou pour le gain de la 14e position et le pilote allemand qui s'est raté, à savoir Nico Henke, lui avait offert la 12e place, mais quand il est revenu sur la piste, il a un petit peu mis le bazar dans le groupe de Mathieu Ferré. Il a perdu des positions, le français, mais il est revenu en 14e place. Mais là encore, au moment où il pouvait peut-être espérer faire la jonction avec le groupe de devant, eh bien, suite à ce retour en piste de Henke un petit peu chaotique, il a reperdu le contact avec le groupe qui est devant lui. Et à la régulière, vu le temps qu'il reste, ça sera difficile de faire mieux pour Mathieu Ferré. Mais en tout cas, ça lui permet normalement d'aller chercher les points nécessaires pour accéder à la finale de cet après-midi. En attendant évidemment les résultats de la Super Hit qui va suivre pour les pilotes du groupe B. Voilà, en tête toujours Enzo Boll, assez détaché finalement maintenant de Mark Kimber. Ils vont boucler un nouveau tour et ils vont rentrer dans les 2 derniers tours. 2 tours encore pour Enzo Boll devant Mark Kimber et Emils Akmens.
Well, Emils Akmens currently would be second in points. Ball, Kimber and Akmens run 1, 2, 3 on the road. There's less than a minute remaining. There on your screen is the number 502 making a move. That's Nico Handke passing. Where is Handke? Handke has fallen. He's 14th. So Handke passing Lewis Goff for 14th position there. Further up the road, the 514 cart, Vicente Marquez, the Marquez competition driver. He is having a storming drive up to 8th position. I'm looking back, Stan Pex is down to 12th now. Mathieu Ferré is up to 13th. I would say that is more than enough to get Mathieu Ferré into the main event. Lewis Goff should be in the main event. Handke, Bendiguez Sabo is 16th. Bendiguez Sabo started today 39th in points. He's gained 4 places in this race. Is it going to be enough? I'm not sure for the Birol Arts driver from Hungary. Fabris is up into 20th position. Alex Siegel, Daniel Carmona, they're both on the cusp as well. The time has ticked to nothing. Next time by, Enzo Boll and Mark Kimber will take the last lap board. Kimber not concerned about Ball because Kimber is still well ahead of Enzo in the point standings. There is Giorgio Amati, and is that Maxime Gelé challenging Amati in the Sodi kart? The 569 of, no, that's Edgar's Vilkans in the Sodi kart. And, problem for Amati. Giorgio Amati slowing down on the last lap, and they're flooding past the Italian. Disaster for Team Infinity Racing. There is Amati. He's got to get out of the way of people and try and coast it home. He will still make the main event, but he will not be near the front. These two will be at the front. Enzo Boll and Mark Kimber.
Allez, c'est la fin de cette super manche DD2 pour Enzo Boll et Mark Kimber qui vont aller chercher la première et la deuxième position. Voilà, il se retourne. Enzo Boll en 3e position. On a Akmens Amati va terminer 5e parce qu'Edgards a trouvé... ben non, Amati, c'est lui qui a le problème. Giorgio Amati qui finit finalement en 9e avec ce problème dans le dernier tour. Edgards va chercher la 4e place. Maxime Gelé, brillant 5e. Et du côté de Mathieu Ferré, bien, on a fait le job en terminant 13e. Voilà pour les couleurs françaises. On va signaler également que Mathis Favris termine 20e et Théo Lemoine 25e. Corentin Franchi, lui, est 27e.
So, drama on the last lap for Giorgio Amati, who comes home in 9th place and salvages something. You're looking at 12 drivers there, all of whom you will see later on in the main event. Matthew Ferry in, I would say, and this is provisional, but I would say in. Handke in, Goff in, Bendiguez, Sabo, not sure. Nemet Volgi in. Here is the third page, and unfortunately Ori Nave crashed on the last lap. Gavin Desert out. He will not make the main event after finishing 30th. Terrible misfortune. Let's have a look at the highlights as we try to calculate what the drivers in Superheat B need to do to make the main show.
David lined up on the second row, the first of our Polish drivers. Opposite, also 2 Polish drivers on the first 3 rows. It's impressive. Hi to everyone at Polski Karting watching. It's a good result, David. Good result. Yep. And of course, I just want to have a look back, and I'm standing on the side because we're about to start. Sam Nopches back there giving us a wave in kart 520. Now he's the defending champion from the Rotax Grand Finals. Last year was starting on the front of the grid here, the fastest guy on the grid. So look forward to 5:20 coming through the field. Now, of course, Sam's one of the drivers that's really on the limit now. He needs to have a good result to stay in the top 36 to make the final. And of course, Antoine Barbaroux, who I'm going to speak to a little bit later, leading the field out. Of course, he's been on the podium here. He's the winner here in Le Mans. Almost did it last year, and the year before, and the year before, and the year before. I think we're up to 5 years, Antoine. So for all the French fans, he's probably the local hero on the grid here. And of course, Matthias, team manager from M&M, based in the UAE, lining up next to him. Hi to everyone in Lebanon. Of course, your mum's here too. She's made the trip, so it's really nice.
Now,
And
Jen.
then the danger man.
Oh, sorry,
sitting
Jen.
on the second row.
Yep.
Jakob Betzel. The guy that just wants to win this event and again almost did it last year. Hi to everyone in Czech Republic.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. Sam Knyoppers, after an exclusion in one of his heat races, came into today 36th in points. White Birrell. I'll give you the list of qualifiers as things stand. Your starting lineup is Antoine Barbaroux and Matthias Negem, Jakob Betzel and David Mastiakiewicz, Patrick Donice and Wout Kirstjens, then William Christensen and Len Nice, Will Ellsworth and Noah Hipp, followed by William Norbeck and Steven Savant, Leonardo Baccaglini and Tristan Rennie, Tom Vuo and Hugo Dupont. They were in the top 32 in points. Qatar's Hamza Hashisho came into today 34th in points, and Sem Knyoppers, who shares row 9 with Hashisho, came into today 36th in points. As Jen mentioned, he's the reigning Grand Finals DD2 champion, and he is right on the cusp. Now, row 10, Artur Videra and Maximilian Adolf. They are currently out of the main event. Dokuchki Marcin and David Mitchell also out of the main event. They start on row 11. Marco Parina, Anthony Kukac, Luis Terotin, Alwin Linden, Pablo Gutierrez, Theo Desert, Noah Neumann, Rebecca Ladino, Sami Al-Assad, Rafael Masaye and Mark Quies Verdu. They round out the rest of the runners. Now from race number 1, I believe Gabin Desert is no longer in the top 36 in points. That opens up at least one space. Daniel Carmona and Alex Siegel, I've got question marks over them. They were 27th and 35th in points coming into today. They did not have good finals, but they may have just done enough. Matthew Ferre has definitely done enough. So he has probably taken Gabin Desert's place in the main event, and I've got a question mark over Bendiguez Sabo, who gained a few places. Has he gained enough places? That will mean Hashisho, Knyoppers, Hugo Dupont, Tom Vuo are very nervous. Archer Videra, Maximilian Adolf, Dokuchki Marcin and David Mitchell, they are also looking, they need a couple of positions. So the back markers, they are just going to enjoy this race, because even though more points are available than in a normal heat race, for this super heat, they're a long, long way back, and they would need an awful lot of things to go very, very pear-shaped for some of the drivers on rows 7, 8 and 9.
Allez, procédure à refaire pour cette super hit DD2 groupe B. Une procédure de départ qui a été quelque peu tronquée. On voyait Antoine Barbaroux tout seul aux avant-postes. Le reste du peloton n'avait pas suivi. Donc on va remettre tout le monde en ordre de marche. Et on va tenter de repartir pour cette super manche DD2. 11 minutes plus un tour dans cette super manche.
At the end of this race, we will know which 36 DD2 drivers have made the main show. Barbaroux and Negem, row 1. Betzel, Mastiakiewicz, row 2. Donitsa and Kirstians, row 3. Will Ellswood, that is a new kart because yesterday in the last heat race, Ellswood was involved in not one but 2 incidents, the second of which was the death knell for his chassis. So his dad Stefan has built up a new kart overnight. They were even wondering whether they'd come out to play today. Well, Ellswood is still in the top 10 in the field, so he's got a chance. Here we go to the line. DD2 Superheat B is underway.
Allez, cette fois c'est mieux maîtrisé de la part de Antoine Barbarou qui conserve le leadership. Attention à InJames sur l'extérieur qui va tenter de conserver sa deuxième place, mais c'est raté. Un pilote s'est intercalé, il me semble que c'est Jacob Buzel qui a réussi à s'immiscer, à se glisser dans un trou de souris en négociant le premier virage. Derrière, tout le monde semble être passé sans encombre. Oui, c'est le cas, pas de souci. Le peloton qui s'étire déjà avec des attaques au virage du banking. Mais pour l'instant, ça se présente plutôt pas mal et c'est plutôt pas mal engagé pour Antoine Barbarou, le leader.
A very clean opening half a lap. Barbarou leads Patel into virage to Technopark. They're 3 wide coming through the pit S's for about 7th place on back. Betzel has a little look to the inside. Najem running in 3rd place. Betzel checks over his shoulder, defends. Najem will try to push Betzel up to Barbarou. Barbarou covers his line going into virage de restaurant. The matte black crash helmet of David Masakevich runs in 3rd. There goes Matthias Najem to P2 at turn 3. Runs wide. Betzel gets him back. No, Matthias Najem trying to get back, and that is Maximilian Adolf. Adolf, who was just outside the top 36, is out. Oh no, there's Hamza Hashisho, the Qatari, from 35th in points. He will not make the main event, and I think that would be Adolf and Hashisho out of contention. There is now another place up for grabs, and Maximilian Adolf, he will not take it. The place up for grabs in the main event, sadly, belonged at the start of today to the only driver from Qatar who is here. In fact, he is Qatar's leading kart racer, Hamza Hashisho, but we will not see Hashisho in the main event.
Antoine Barbarou, toujours en maîtrise aux commandes de la course, alors que derrière on a vu au tour précédent Hamza Hashisho, le pilote qatari, qui malheureusement a été l'une des victimes de l'accrochage que l'on a entreaperçu. Et malheureusement pour lui, c'est la fin de ses espoirs pour disputer la finale cet après-midi. Pendant ce temps-là, Antoine Barbarou contrôle la situation. Jacob Bezel est toujours dans son sillage, et en 3e position on retrouve Matthias Njame. Le pilote libanais. Maslakevich est 4e, Lynch est 5e. Ensuite on retrouve Ilswood, Donica, Servant, Kurtzen, Knoppes et Tristan Rennie qui complète le top 11. Mais pour l'instant ça se présente plutôt gentiment, cette deuxième super manche DD2. On reste calme. Attention quand même à l'attaque ici à l'intérieur au banking de Jacob Bezel qui prend les commandes, et Antoine Barbarou qui se fait un petit peu maltraiter, qui a perdu 2 positions voire 3, puisque dans la ligne droite il n'a pas sa vitesse habituelle et il va peut-être même être menacé pour la 5e place. Ouais, il est poussé à l'extérieur même, Antoine Barbarou, et de fait il va se retrouver à l'arrière du groupe de tête en 5e position.
Now business has picked up. Betzel leads. You saw Barbarou getting shuffled wide by Len Nice down at the virage to Technopark. It's Betzel from Najem, from Mastiakevich, from Nice, from Barbarou. Will Ellswood now moves into P6. Then it's Savant, Donitsa, Kirstians, Sem Knoppers, up 8 places already. I think we can guarantee, as things stand, that Sem, as long as he finishes in the race, he is in the main event. Yellow flags waving as there's marshals pulling 2 carts off at the side of the circuit. That was Tom Vuo. Tom Vuo and Marco Perina. Vuo was in the top 8. There is the 528 cart abandoned. The 527 cart abandoned. So Perina, the Alpha karting driver, will not make the main event. Vuo, who was in, I would say Vuo is very questionable. No, I'll say Vuo is probably out. So there's a few more spaces opening up for drivers deep in the field as we look at the lead battle. Betzel from Negem. Alwyn Linden has retired. Oh, Archer Videra has also had a problem. Videra was the first driver set to move in to the top 36 with the demise of Hashisho. So Videra, cross him off the list. Len Nice now defending against Antoine Barbarou. Here comes the Craft Motorsport kart of Will Ellswood. All 3 wide. Hold your breath. Somehow they get through unscathed. And there is Sem Knyoppers. Knyoppers is having an absolute hoolie of a drive.
Assez chaud hein, dans le groupe de poursuivants, alors que devant ça semble très calme. Derrière, eh bien, c'est compliqué, hein, notamment pour Antoine Barbarou là, qui se trouve dans un groupe de furieux. Il a perdu 4 positions, il en a regagné 3. Mais là, plus ça va, plus il s'enfonce dans le classement de cette super manche. Il est désormais en 8e position, Antoine Barbarou. Alors il va peut-être reprendre un petit peu le contrôle de la situation. Mais pendant ce temps-là, devant, eh bien, Jakub Bessel et Njame sont en train de s'échapper avec Maslakiewicz en 3e position. Pour Antoine Barbarou, là, revenir sur les avant-postes, ça va être très très compliqué parce que dans ce groupe de furieux là auquel il est eh bien, englué, dans lequel il est englué, il est en 8e position derrière Sem Knoppes.
Mastiakiewicz in 3rd place for the Polish KRK racing team is a former podium finisher in this class in the grand finals. So is Jakub Betzel. Mateusz Negem has been to the grand finals a number of times. He has, the Negem family were one of Lebanon's original karting families, and I'm thinking alongside the likes of Abi Nakle, of Saraye, of El Fagali. Those are the Lebanese names synonymous with Rotax karting. And now Negem, a team owner in his own right, running in P2 as he tries to go back to the grand finals for the first time in several years. He already has a grand finalist in the form of UAE senior Rotax champion George Nassar going to Portimao. He would very much like to go himself again, probably for one of the final times before team management and team ownership takes up his entire life. He's doing an excellent job, however. Stephen Savant now moves into 4th position. Savant in the number 555 kart for the GLP team. Side by side, Len Nice. And is that Patrick Donitsa? That is for 8th and 9th position. Barbarou runs 7th. And look at the 2 Sony karts. That's Noah Hipp and Hugo Dupont who are in the mix. Dupont started this today 32nd in points. He's racing his way in. I've got Vuo and Hashisho, 2 drivers that started the day in the main event. They will not make the main event. The first 2 drivers on row 10 in this race who were looking to race their way in, Videra and Adolf, they have both had trouble. They're down the order. They will probably not go through either. That opens the door in this race for Marcin and Mitchell. Marcin, or Mitchell, is still only 22nd. That isn't going to be good enough. Marcin up to 18th. That's probably not going to be good enough. One driver on an absolute mission is Noah Neumann. Neumann up 14 places to 15th. But he was so far back in the points, I'm not sure that 14th place is going to be good enough. As we look at Len Nice in kart 556, now battling with Tristan Rennie. And there is Ellsworth being passed by Knoppers. Put Sem Knoppers into P6.
Allez, devant, c'est semble-t-il bien établi hein, pour Jacob Basil Jacob et N. James. Maslakiewicz est toujours troisième et derrière on retrouve le premier tricolore classé, Steven Servant, qui est au contact, mais vous le voyez hein, dans la ligne droite du Technopark, eh bien ça reste compliqué pour revenir sur ses adversaires. Attention, derrière Servant, eh bien on a Innswood et Knoppes qui sont en train de s'expliquer en fonction des secteurs du tracé, ce qui pourrait peut-être permettre à Antoine Barbarou eh bien, de revenir pour pourquoi pas dans les derniers tours. Ouais, il va rester 2 tours hein, maintenant dans cette course de Super Hit DD2. Pourquoi pas Antoine Barbarou de récupérer quelques positions, ce qui lui permettrait peut-être d'aller récupérer une position supplémentaire sur la grille de la finale qui aura lieu cet après-midi. Mais encore faut-il rejoindre les 2 pilotes qui sont devant lui et ça me semble un petit peu juste au niveau du timing.
30 seconds to go. Batzell leads by 3/10 of a second from Najem. Then a gap of 7/10 back to David Mastiakiewicz. Another 1.7 seconds back to Savant. Then Knoppers. The lead group is quite spread out apart from this battle that we're looking at. That's the 510 cart William Norbeck. And Norbeck, it moves past Noah Hip into 9th position. Looking down the order, okay, the top 15 on the road in this race, they are all safely in. I would say even William Christensen in 16th. Then we have the outsiders, Mark Quies-Verdu. He was last in points and he has moved up to 17th. That's not going to be good enough. Noah Neumann has now dropped back to 18th place. That will not be good enough. Dokuchi Marcin, 19th. Possibly, I don't want to know. I don't want to say for certain, and of course everything I say is provisional. What this does mean is that Alex Siegel, Bendiguez Sabo and Daniel Carmona, the 2 Hungarians and the Spaniard who raced in Superheat A, they will be very, very nervous right now. But the way that things have panned out with drivers dropping out of the top 36 in this race, Vuo, Hashisho, and then drivers like Videra and Adolf failing to capitalize, I think that might just be enough for Siegel, Sabo and Carmona, who aren't even in this race, to make it to the main event. We will have to see. This is the final lap. Batzell is just a few corners from home, but here comes the battle. Sem Knoppers isn't finished yet. Well, I think Savant holds him off.
Allez, c'est la fin avec la victoire de Basil Jacob qui s'impose devant Matthias Enjaim et Maslakiewicz. Servant est en 4e position, Knoppes 5e, Ilswood 6e et Antoine Barbarou termine 7e à quelques longueurs de carte seulement du pilote britannique qui était devant lui. Il lui a manqué peut-être un tour pour aller chercher cette 6e position. Mais en tout cas, pour Antoine Barbarou, ça sécurise sa 6e position au classement par points. Voilà qui est une bonne chose. Quant à Jacob Bazel, eh bien lui, il verrouille une 3e position dans ce classement, pour l'instant dominé par Kimber, et qui lui permettra eh bien, de partir en pole position tout à l'heure durant la finale. À ses côtés, on retrouvera eh bien, Matthias Enjaim qui a fait l'essentiel dans cette finale. Voilà donc pour la catégorie DD2. On va enchaîner dans quelques instants avec les juniors. Tout de suite, on regarde les highlights.
A look here at Lucian Smith starting out of row 9. Of course, Lucian's right on the limit there, so he doesn't need to go anywhere behind that position to stay on the grid for the final. However, he qualified P50, and normally we see in international racing he's there. He can be there at the front, and he had a P4 in his second heat. So, yeah, no pressure, but we're looking forward to a great race from Lucian. Just something I wanted to point out. I was looking at the statistics to the guys in the commentary from the DD2 Superheats. Giorgio Amati, the Porsche driver, who's also the team boss, another team boss on the grid in DD2, just set a best lap only 2 1,000ths slower than Stan Pax's pole position on Wednesday night.
Has nobody told those Mojo tyres they've done 2.5 days of racing? That's remarkable, Jen. What's
night.
Is that the D5 they're using?
That's it.
Wow.
The Mojo D5. So hi to everyone at Heidenau and at Rotax, of course. Love that tyre. But unbelievable. I spoke to Giorgio yesterday. He did 2 days of practice. He doesn't drive karts normally. He turned up here last year just for fun with his team. He's a team boss based in San Marino. So, yeah.
Now, Jen, there's a link up with Porsche here this week, isn't there? We've got a Porsche in the paddock. Are we going to see a Porsche on the track later as well?
It's a secret.
Oh, is it? Oh, I don't know then, but we've definitely got a Porsche in the paddock, haven't we?
Yes, well, I have got my Porsche here, but it's hidden at the moment, so I might bring it out for the winners.
Oh, that'd be very kind of you, Jen.
This afternoon.
Very kind of you.
But yeah, the collaboration, obviously the collaboration with Rotax it's a nice step up. It's a nice one-make series, the single brand events around the world, just like we have.
Yes, a perfect alignment of synergies. Is that the business speak they talk about all these times? I don't know. I just talk about go-karts going round in circle, and we've got another 36 of them about to go round in circles for 11 minutes. Here is your starting lineup for Superheat A in juniors. Finley Lines, now the only driver left in the event, completely undefeated. He starts on pole position alongside Majos Masinas, Sebastian Clark and Albert Friend on row 2, Martin Soltis and Carsten Sewer on row 3, Luan Seidel and Harry Taylor row 4, Kimmy May, Leo Gonzalez, William Nielsen, Joao Pereira, Harry Ratcliffe, Matisse Uard, Nathan Lecurio, Nolan Michaud, Mikael Grantins and Lucian Smith. They are the front 18 drivers on the grid. They are the 18 drivers in this race who are currently qualified for the main event. Here are the drivers in order who are not. Philip Hansler and Marcel Metze, Josh Cormack and Marcel Poppercool, Luca Guillon and Julian Duemer, Philippe Zerak and Thomas Gavinenu, Maximilian Kiel and Gustave Duval Guache. Then it's Mies Skibby Engstrom and Daniel Minto, Floris Schenkenberg, Dario Sanchez Galvez, William Rundfeldt, Milhan Delesment, Liam O'Hagan and Thibaut Mercier. Smith, Grantins, Lecurio, Michaud, Radcliffe and Uard are looking over their shoulders nervously. Hansler, Metze, Poppercool and Cormack are giving it all guns blazing. What about a hero drive from someone near the back as well? Here we go, Superheat A.
Et c'est parti pour Finlay Lines qui évidemment emmène le peloton. Voilà, il a conservé le leadership, mais comme souvent, eh bien, c'est le pilote qui est juste derrière le poleman, Sébastien Clark, qui est en deuxième position à la sortie du virage numéro 1. Et on va maintenant vers le virage des 2 arbres qui va bien étirer un petit peu le peloton avec bien un peloton qui semble passer sans encombre. Oui, tout le monde est passé, semble-t-il. Et ça, c'est plutôt la bonne nouvelle parce que ça risque d'être assez mouvementé dans cette catégorie junior. À suivre, bien évidemment.
Lines leads his teammate, and under pressure down the virage straight. Sebastian Clark on the anchors. There's KR Sports in, how many KR Sport cards have we got here up at the front? Plenty of them. There goes Lines. Behind them, it's Luan Seidel in the number 233 cart for the KR Sport team. Then it's Massinas. Martin Soltis is in fourth position. He's the first of the KRK Racing drivers. Albie Friend, Sebastian Clark and Harry Taylor. A clean start for all drivers. Now that's great news for us. It's not great news for those drivers towards the, out of the top 36. I'm not saying the ones that are on the cusp. I'm on about the ones deep in the points who needed a little bit of good fortune, who needed some incidents and accidents towards the front and the middle of the pack to give them a chance. But in terms of the racing, that is very good indeed. Here we go. Clark. That's Massinas and Seidel. I'm looking down there. It's a KR Sport 1, 2, 3. As we cross the line, it's a KR 1, 2, 3, and 6 at the moment. With Albie Friends just passing Martin Soltis for P4. Into turn number 3. There is the 233 of Luan Seidel, the Swiss driver. Looking to the inside, Mahos Massinas, the Lithuanian, reigning Grand Finals junior champion, lets him go. Smart driving as they try to push away from the pack.
Allez, c'est bien parti pour Finlay Lines dans cette super hit, première super hit catégorie junior. Le pilote qui est pour l'instant le seul encore en piste à être invaincu dans ce week-end du RMCIT ici au Mans. Derrière, il y a Seidel et Massinas au coude à coude et aux prises à une explication assez sévère. Un coup à toi, un coup à moi. Regardez Massinas là qui se décale dans la ligne droite et qui va tenter de prendre l'intérieur. Voilà qui est fait. Massinas qui reprend la deuxième position sur Seidel et derrière, et bien évidemment, ça permet à Friend et à Soltis de revenir au contact, bien évidemment. Voilà qui va modifier la donne. On n'est plus à se disputer cette deuxième place à 2 pilotes, mais bien à 5.
Oh, there goes Seidel having a little look, and that opens the door for Albie Friend. Albie Friend takes advantage of that move, which was a half move by Luan Seidel that just compromised both himself and his teammate. That's it's all about race smarts. When to try and make a pass. Think about the bigger picture. And Albie Friend says, well, thank you very much. My picture needs filling with a trophy and a ticket. That's what Albie Friend's picture frame needs. He's up into P2 now. Crossing the line, Seidel in third, Massinas, Soltis, Harry Taylor up into 8th place. Watch for the Dan Holland Racing Kart, the gold crash helmet of Harry Taylor, number 227. Sebastian Clark down to 7th, then William Nielsen. Further back in the pack, going in the right direction. Philip Hansler came into today 30, let's have a look, 38th in points. He has moved up 3 places to P16 in the race. That could be very good news. It also could be good news for Luca Guillon from, let's have a look, where did Guillon start? He started back in 23rd place. He's gained 6 places up to 17th. Bad news. Nathan Lecurio dropping down to 18th. He's still in the show, but only just. Bad news. Lucian Smith, who has dropped 2 places to 20th. Even worse news for Nolan Michaud. Nolan Michaud was 32nd in points, and Michaud has dropped to 24th in the race. I think that opens at least 1 place up in the main event. We've got a cart off at the side of the circuit. It is, Luca Guillon. Guillon was storming through the order, and now he is out of the race. So Guillon, you can put a cross next to the 211 drivers' names. He won't make it to the dance. Thibaut Mercier also in problems, but he was not a factor anyway.
Allez, Luca Guillon, comme vient de l'annoncer Henry, malheureusement qui s'est retiré de l'épreuve et qui malheureusement ne pourra pas aller rejoindre les rangs de la finale. Pendant ce temps-là, évidemment, derrière, au devant de la course, derrière Finlay Lines, qui effectue, on peut le dire, une promenade de santé dans cette super manche. Eh bien, ça se bagarre toujours. Quant à la décision finale, bien difficile de savoir qui de Albert Friends ou de Luan Seidel va s'imposer respectivement par rapport à l'autre. Martin Soltis qui est derrière, pas très loin, qui espère bien que la situation monte un petit peu en intensité pour définitivement opérer la jonction sur le duo qui est devant lui. Mais attention, parce que derrière il y a encore du beau monde avec Massinas, Nielsen, Taylor, Radcliffe. Tout ça espère évidemment marquer des gros points dans l'optique d'obtenir une meilleure place sur la grille de la finale de cet après-midi. Du côté des autres Français, Mathis Huard est pour l'instant 11e, Karsten Sor est 14e et Nathan Lecuiro est en 16e position.
Just saw Harry Taylor pass Mahos Massinas. Massinas has dropped back from the early stages. Now Massinas runs down in 8th position. William Nielsen is ahead of those two drivers. Here is Friend second. There is Seidel, Seidel third and Soltis fourth. Then it is Clark, Nielsen and these two drivers, Harry Taylor and Mahos Massinas. Harry Radcliffe runs in 9th place. Kinney May rounds out your top 10. Uard is 11th. Joao Pereira 12th. Gonzalez, Carsten Sewer are next. Nathan Lecurio is hanging on in 15th. Mikel Grantins is 60th. That should be good enough for both Lecurio and Grantins. Hansler has dropped to 17th. He is now in the danger zone as well. So's Lucian Smith. Daniel Minto is having a storming drive. He's up from 9th to 19th place, but he was 60th in points or 59th in points coming into the day. He is, well, he's not going to make it. The top 5 would probably help him get in, but that's not going to happen with 3 minutes to go. But Minto having a good drive nonetheless. Lucian Smith has understood that he is panicking and he is going quickly. 54.778 seconds for Lucian Smith, running in 17th. But again, the drivers in the day, the drivers that really needed a good race, not many of them are having it. And the drivers that had to avoid a bad race, most of them are avoiding it. There is Massinas making a move on the 257 of Sebastian Clark. Massinas now moving back up the order to 6th, Clark back to 7th, Taylor in 8th.
Allez, il reste moins de 2 minutes 15 maintenant à parcourir dans cette super manche catégorie junior groupe A, avec toujours la domination sans faille, bien évidemment, de Finlay Lines qui va un peu plus asseoir sa domination dans cette catégorie. Par contre, derrière, c'est la grosse bagarre pour les accessites, parce que outre le résultat même de cette super manche, ça permet aussi de se positionner sur la grille de la finale. Et Albert Friends en 2e position validerait sa place sur la première ligne en attendant évidemment les résultats du 2e groupe. Et il est dans cet ordre devant Soltis et en course et au classement intermédiaire, d'où l'importance éventuellement pour Martin Soltis d'aller chercher la 2e position sur Albert Friends. On va voir ce que ça va donner dans les minutes qui suivent, mais vous le voyez, l'écart est quand même assez impressionnant, d'autant plus que Soltis est sous la menace de Nielsen.
Up at the front, Albert Friend has got clean air. And you've just seen it on the screen. New fastest lap, driver 259, Albert Friend, 54.556 seconds. The gap to Finlay Lines is 1.6 seconds. 1 minute to go. Lines isn't necessarily pushing, but Friend will want to give Finlay a very friendly reminder. Hey, I'm still here. I had one bad result, the spark plug gate, which has skewed the results. The 277 technical flag for Carsten Sewer. Oh, Carsten Sewer, technical flag. He was 6th on the grid, 12th, 11th in points. He should still be in there. Is a question mark now over Carsten Sewer. Was he far enough ahead in the points he should still make the main event.
Allez, nous sommes dans la fin du temps réglementaire. Il reste 10 secondes maintenant, 10 secondes. C'est-à-dire que les pilotes sont dans leur avant-dernier tour de cette super manche junior groupe A. Voici les leaders avec Finlay Lines qui va évidemment aller chercher une nouvelle victoire. Et le coup de théâtre, entre guillemets, c'est ce drapeau noir à rond orange pour Carstensor, qui va devoir rejoindre le paddock. Un résultat blanc qui va lui coûter des positions sur la grille de la finale. En tout cas, on est dans le dernier tour. Ça y est, c'est officiel avec Finlay Lines qui mène toujours devant Friends. Et derrière, c'est toujours l'incertitude entre Soltis et Nielsen. Soltis qui doit absolument conserver cette position pour ne pas perdre de position au classement général et donc sur la grille de la finale. On va le savoir dans quelques instants. Les deux pilotes sont toujours roue dans roue. Attention à la sortie du bunker. Du banking, pardon, pas du bunker. C'est autre chose ça, le bunker. Et attention à cette attaque au freinage du Technopark, au virage du Technopark. Non, pour l'instant, ça reste sous la maîtrise de Soltis. Et pendant ce temps-là, Finlay Lines finit le travail et Soltis termine troisième. Donc Finlay Lines premier, Albert Friends deuxième, Soltis troisième et Nielsen quatrième. Seidel termine cinquième. Le premier français, c'est Mathis Huard en 10e position. Nathan Lecuiro, lui, termine 14e.
Finlay Lines wins by 1.5 seconds and remains undefeated. Albie Friend second, Martin Soltis, William Nielsen and Luan Seidel, your top five. With Sebastian Clark, Mahos Masinas, Harry Taylor, Harry Radcliffe and Matisse Huard rounding out your top 10. It gets interesting from 13th place on back. Lucian Smith plus 5 places to P13 in the main event. Provisionally, providing of course there's no post-race penalties. Everything I say is unofficial. 14th place, Nathan Lecurio in, I would say. Kimi May, 15th, still in. Mikkel Grantins from Norway, in. Daniel Minto from 30th to 17th. That's an excellent drive from the Origin Motorsport man. I just don't think it's enough because he was so far back in points. However, he's given himself a fighting chance because you don't know what will happen in Superheat B, and everything that happens in Superheat B has a direct relation to the points in Superheat A. Marcel Poppercool, question mark, up 4 places to 18th. Philip Hansler, question mark, started 19th, finished 19th. Now, how about Nolan Michaud, 32nd in points, drops to 21st in that race. Big question mark. Sadly, Marcel Metze, who only finished 23rd, and Luca Guillon, who dropped out right at the end, they are not gonna make it. As look back at a quick set of highlights.
I can feel the tension down on the pre-grid, but what some exciting racing we've had already. Really good racing, and of course we know this is important for all the drivers. This is what it's all about. It's Saturday and we're going racing. A shout out to the 54 Squadra driver 239. Now that's going to be Gabriele Iacomelli. He's on the limit, on the border, so halfway down the grid, row 9. And of course we haven't seen him so far up the grid, qualified just a few places behind that, but we don't always see some of these drivers right at the front. But in this case, we're going to watch the number 239 and see what he can do to stay on the grid for the final.
Donc super manche, super hit B. Avec là encore évidemment des ambitions hein, pour les pilotes, pour ceux qui sont d'ores et déjà comptablement plus ou moins admis en finale. Eh bien c'est évidemment de sécuriser leur position, pouvoir l'améliorer bien évidemment. Et pour ceux qui sont à la limite, c'est tenter d'aller chercher eh bien, cette qualification in extremis en tentant de récupérer le maximum de points dans cette super manche. Cette super manche, elle va être emmenée par Riley Muro, le pilote du kart Cosmic 205, avec à ses côtés Babicek sur la première ligne. Derrière, on va retrouver Pascu, Van Melik, Radcliffe, Reed, Stafford, Schelk, Polican, attention à Théo Polican, Charles Ural partagera la 5e ligne avec lui. Derrière on va retrouver Leblé, Matrullo, Berdinel, Battisti, Killar, Unlock Dogan, Zanki, Giacomelli, Olmes Balak, Hammond, Koster, Christensen, Walker, Olthozen, White, Klinkers, Sir Heissa, Moonen, Jackson, André Mathieu, Guédon, Humek, Siadowska, Combacon, Vondracek et Zietek.
They come into the pits chicane. As always, look for Christoph Killer, Turhan Undludegan on row 8, Miyazaki and Gabriel Iacomelli. They are the last two drivers currently in. Luca Holmes, Balak, Aidan Hammond, Leonard Costa and Anton Christiansen are the leading drivers trying to race their way in, and they will not take the start this time by. So the situation for the driver, oh dear, and the reason we didn't take the start is because driver number 222, Teddy Zvicek, who's starting at the back of the grid, had a bit of a spin on the start line and took out one of the timing beacons. And I can see the Apex timing crew looking very forlornly at, has one of our very expensive timing beacons just been sent to timing beacon heaven? I'm looking. Oh, that cam. Well, we'll see. It's a bit skewed. It's not exactly lined up. So not a great deal of movement in the first senior superheat. Maybe one or two places up for grabs from the first heat for these drivers, but of course, who knows what will happen in this race. Aidan Hammond and Luca Holmes-Balak. Luca Holmes-Balak, we saw in his last heat yesterday, distraught at a retirement. And now we realise why he was so distraught, because that retirement dropped him to 38th in points. Aidan Hammond, 40th in points. Leonard Kirster, 42nd. Anton Christiansen, 44th. Jensen Walker, 46th in points. Berdinel, Battisti, Killer, Undludegan, Zanki and Iacomelli. They cannot afford a mistake. There's somebody pushing their cart. It's a Sodi cart. I don't know who that is. Let's see as they now take the start. Second time of asking. We are off and racing. And there's a problem for one of the front row starters. Is that Denny Babicek not getting going? And there's a big pile-up coming out of turn number 1 in the tail end of the pack. I'm looking. Who has not come round? Teo Batisti's in trouble. Denny Babicek is in trouble. He's cruising round. He's probably, he's possibly out of the race. Now his kart does fire. Denny Babicek is back up to speed. But there's been problems. Teo Battisti retires. He was 28th in points. You could scrub Battisti from the main event. Who is that going to open the door for as the leaders battle down to Virage de Technopark?
Allez, un départ un peu chaotique avec déjà des problèmes, notamment pour Teo Battisti qui a dû abandonner. Alors qu'on va passer maintenant sur la ligne pour le premier tour avec Louis Radcliffe devant Riley Muro pour le leadership dans cette super manche. Et derrière, eh bien, évidemment, il va y avoir des choses à reconstruire parce que vous l'avez peut-être vu sur les images, eh bien, il y a eu beaucoup de sorties de piste, dirons-nous, à l'extérieur du premier virage. Et certains pilotes vont devoir cravacher pour remonter sur le haut de la hiérarchie et marquer le maximum de points. Et dans ce départ un peu chaotique, eh bien, Théo Polican, le 201, a pris un très très bon départ puisque Théo Polican est en 3e position. Théo Polican qui pourrait peut-être cette fois laisser parler sa qualité de pilotage. On sait qu'il s'est fait un petit peu remarquer pour certaines manœuvres, des fois un petit peu limite en piste, mais là il est très très bien parti et c'est peut-être l'occasion rêvée pour lui bien, de faire l'étalage de son talent de pilote parce qu'il n'en manque pas.
Change for second place. Teo Polican for the Dream Racing team. Moves past Riley Murrow into P2. Denik Babicek finished lap number 1 in 27th position. He's already up to 23rd. This is now... Denny Babicek has to put in the drive of his life to salvage his chances. 4th in points coming into today. And now dropping right down the order. I'm looking and he's not in the top 8 in points. He would not be in the top 4 rows of the grid for the main event as things stand. Now there was a huge pile-up down at turn number 1. Luckily, everybody got going from it. However, Lennart Costa has retired. So the driver who was 42nd in points, he will not go through. Battisti, 28th in points, will not go through. And down the order, Gabriel Iacomelli, who was 36th and last in the main event. Iacomelli has dropped to 31st. You could put a fork in Iacomelli because I believe he is also done. It's opening the doors for the likes of Thomas Jackson, Aidan Hammond up to 16th, Luca Holmes-Ballock up to 14th. So Holmes-Ballock and Aidan Hammond at the moment doing what they need to do. They are racing their way in to the main event. Christoph Killer, Miyazaki, good start for both those two. They are solidifying their place in the top 36. Where is Anton Christiansen? He's 19th. He needs a bit more. What about Jenthe Moonen? Up from 28th to 18th. He's a long way back with Jenthe in the points, but you never know. Thomas Jackson now moves up another couple of places. Jackson, who drove very well but then got an exclusion in one of his heats, he is now 15th in the running order. And Jackson started today, well, he started this race 29th. Long way to go, however. 6 3/4 minutes remaining, and the top 4 nose to tail. Radcliffe, Polican, Murrow and Rares Pascu. The Swiss-Romanian driver.
Polican est passé.
Oh, Polican now leads.
Polican est devant avec cette erreur un petit peu de Radcliffe qui a été un petit peu large dans le banking et qui reprend, me semble-t-il, son bien au bout de la ligne droite du Technopole alors qu'il y a eu un gros contact là, semble-t-il. Et ouais, Radcliffe qui est repassé en tête avec Polican deuxième et Riley Muro et Rare Pascu en ont profité également pour revenir et même Tom Reed. Voilà, on a 6 pilotes maintenant à l'avant-poste avec Van Melik qui ferme la marche. Ça va être une belle explication là parce qu'il y a du beau monde, il y a du niveau côté pilotage et ça devrait nous valoir une fin de super manche assez exceptionnelle. Pendant ce temps-là, évidemment, Henry fait les comptes pour savoir qui sera qualifié ou pas pour la finale de cet après-midi. Mais devant, là, il y a une course superbe à suivre avec certainement des bagarres à venir à n'en pas douter. Et attention, Polican qui plonge à l'intérieur au freinage du virage du Technopark. Et du coup, eh bien, ça met un petit peu la zizanie. Et c'est un troisième larron qui en a profité. Et c'est désormais eh bien, Riley Muro qui mène qui mène la course devant Théo Polican qui a perdu du terrain.
Well, Teo Polican made the move on Louis Ratcliffe, forced them both wide. The human highlight reel, Riley Murrow moves into the race lead. Oh, this would be good. At the moment, Riley Murrow would start alongside Finley Lines on the front row of the grid for the final. I'll remind you once again, Lines is mechanic and Murrow's mechanic are brothers, Jay and Lee Taylor. Oh, it could be a family affair on the front row of the grid, but look at the farmer, Tom Reed, driving superbly. Now this is the Tom Reed who is the reigning Minimax Grand Finals champion. He's had a bit of a slow start to the season. Reed has come alive with the Thule Motorsport team and is up to P2 and closing it. Well, he's not closing in just yet. He was a tick slower than Murrow on that last lap, and he's got Polican and Ratcliffe breathing down his exhaust pipe. Then it's Van Mellick and Pascu, 5th and 6th, LeBlay 7th, Liam Burdenell 8th, Stanley Stafford still runs in 9th, Christoph Keeler and Miyazaki are next. Then it's Jensen Chalk. Okay, Luca Holmes-Ballack currently in. Thomas Jackson currently not sure. Denny Babicek up to 15th. I said he needed to drive his life. He's putting one in. Then it's Bruno Matrullo. Oh, the 213 is out. Jensen Walker for Sam Pollitt Racing. He will not make the main event.
Allez, passage sur la ligne pour Riley Muro qui évidemment profite de la bagarre qui se déroule derrière lui pour creuser l'écart. Pour l'instant, c'est Tom Reed qui mène la chasse, mais vous le voyez, dans ce premier virage, la hiérarchie évolue à chaque passage. Et on va voir maintenant ce que ça va donner. Mais en tout cas, c'est très très chaud entre Reed, Ratcliffe, Polican, Van Mellick et Pascu. Bien malin, qui pourrait dire dans quel ordre ça va terminer, parce que à chaque virage, quasiment, on change la hiérarchie. Heureusement pour lui, Riley Muro. Il a été bien inspiré tout à l'heure lors du chaos, un petit peu au freinage du virage du Technopark, pour se glisser dans un trou de souris et maintenant filer, semble-t-il, vers une fin de course plutôt calme.
Murrow extends his advantage again, a 54.79 for Murrow, a 54. Well, now Louis Ratcliffe returns the favour. There he is for the Sam Pollitt Racing team. Ratcliffe does a 54.58 in kart number 282, and that means that Reed and Polican are also closing in because they are pushing. They're pushing Ratcliffe up to Riley Murrow. Let's not forget that Ratcliffe, well, Murrow, Ratcliffe and Reed, all first year junior drivers. Teo Polican, first year or second year junior driver? Eric, not sure. But Teo, again, he's shown a lot of aggression for the Dream Racing team. And there goes Tom Reed for Thule Motorsport. Into, and what, does Tom Reed get passes Louis Ratcliffe? Ratcliffe tries to come back at him. Reed up to second. That will help Riley Murrow, who is escaping up the road.
Allez, ça, comme je vous le disais, ça s'anime derrière entre Reed, Ratcliffe et Polican. Polican qui a fait un geste à Ratcliffe en lui disant vas-y, on roule. L'idée, c'est de se rapprocher de Riley Muro, mais à mon avis, c'est cause perdue pour ces trois pilotes qui vont devoir s'expliquer pour la fin du podium virtuel de cette super manche. Et Polican qui est passé en 3e position aux dépens de Radcliffe, me semble-t-il, et qui va s'attaquer peut-être maintenant à Tom Reed. Il reste moins d'1 minute à parcourir dans le temps réglementaire, c'est-à-dire que l'on va rentrer dans les 2 derniers tours lorsque Riley Muro va franchir la ligne de chronométrage, ce qui ne saurait tarder, alors qu'il y a un problème pour le numéro 272. Le numéro 272. Ryan White.
Ouais. Well, he's been pulled aside. His nan Wendy isn't here. She'll be devastated with that, but she will be pleased to know that Ryan White is walking away from his cart. Well, he's stomping away from his cart. I think there was an incident possibly with Anton Christiansen. Anton Christiansen has also not been able to take advantage of the issues of drivers in front of him, so Christiansen and White will not make the main event. Luca Holmes-Ballock, we've got a battle for second place. Murrow has cemented his place in the race lead, and it will be, as the clock strikes 0, an all-Taylor front row. That's Jay and Lee on the spanners. It'll be Lines and Murrow behind the wheel on the front row of the Junior Rotax final. Here's the battle for second, however. It's Reed holding off Ratcliffe, holding off Polycond, folding off Pascu, folding off Van Malik, and Stanley Stafford runs 7th for the Hunter Motorsport team.
Et Polican qui s'est fait pousser là et qui va terminer évidemment en dehors de la bagarre pour le podium derrière Riley Muro. Polican là qui s'est fait pousser allègrement au freinage du virage numéro 3. Mais bon, c'est comme ça, on va voir ce que décideront les commissaires sportifs dans cette super manche groupe B pour la catégorie junior. Une chose est sûre, Riley Muro va aller chercher une victoire nette et sans bavure, et il s'élancera pour la finale sur la première ligne en compagnie de Lines. Voilà, c'est fait. Riley Muro qui s'impose devant Tom Reed, Ratcliffe et 3e, Pascu, Van Malik et Polican termine dans cet ordre. Polican qui termine devant Maxence Leblé, Babicek, Berdinel et Charles Ural complète le top 10.
Riley Murrow. This is the week that Riley Murrow has clicked with the Junior Rotax class. We've been fast but accident prone during the first 6 months of 2025. Now we are just fast. He wins from Tom Reed, Louis Ratcliffe, Rares Pascu, Tren Van Malik, Theo Polycand. You saw Polycand running wide, trying to make a move that he didn't really need to make, but he finishes 6th. Maxence Leblay. Denny Babicek from 2nd on the grid to 27th on lap 1. Denny Babicek finishes in 8th. What a drive from the Czech driver. Leah Berdinel, Charles Ural, Christoph Killer, Stanley Stafford round out the top 12. Now, has Thomas Jackson done enough? He was a long way back in the points, but he gained 16 places to finish 13th. Luca Holmes-Ballock in P14. Aidan Hammond, I would say, in P16. Miyazaki and Turhan Unludagan, question marks, because they fell back to 18th and 19th respectively. The question marks are over. Gabriel Iacomelli finishes 24th, out. Theo Battisti, out, retirement. So there's 2 spots up available there. I think Holmes-Ballock and Hammond might have snuck in to the main event. Let's have a look at the highlights.
Once again on the middle of the grid, row 9. Contrasting drivers, Rangandor. We met in the 321 Perform truck. It looked like fun, warming up. Tell us a little bit about how that's helped you.
Obviously the 321 truck obviously helps quite a lot with warming up, with like a bit of cardio, a bit of like all coordination, all sorts of stuff.
Good luck.
Excellent. A bit of coordination, as Ryan Gandor says, as he coordinates answering Jen Wade's question while starting his go-kart and heading out. 126 entered, 72 remain. After these 2 races, we'll be down to 36 in seniors. Here's your starting lineup. Tom Langlois and Raphael Moreau, row 1. Elio Gilter, Macaulay Bishop, row 2. Max Sadursky, Jeremy Roivers, row 3. Matteo Rivals and Arthur Roban, row 4. Vivian Gionnet and Mika Bartolome, row 5. Bran van der Weyken and Blake Southern, row 6. Teresa Babichkova and Ruben Moya. That's a very, very fast 7th row. Then Tobias Norman and Aaron Garcia Lopez, who has overtaken more drivers this week than anybody else. Rayan Gandor and Gold Chain Charlie Wolfit are the last 2 drivers currently qualified for the main event. Charlie King and Brandon Truman are the first 2 drivers on the outside looking in. They are followed by Lloyd Hare, Rian Damadasa, Christian Syerson, Sebastian Koch, Jack West, Andrea Remy, Thomas Verheyen, William Pemble, Roman Saye, Flynn Fitters, Ethan Thorne, Charlie Neve, Lewis Sumner, Maximilian Lupa, Henri Morino and Loris Berdinel. Loris Berdinel is, well, I don't think we'll see Loris in the final. King, Truman, Hare, Damadasa are the best placed drivers who could race their way in. Norman, Garcia Lopez, Gandor and Wolfit are looking very nervous as the lights go out and we go racing.
Allez, Tom Langlois qui est parti en pole position. Attention, là, à l'extérieur pour Raphaël Moreau. Oh là 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 là, ça c'est... Et Raphaël Moreau, me semble-t-il, c'est Raphaël Moreau. Et le 347, c'est Elio Gilter. Elio Gilter et Raphaël Moreau. Et voilà, ouais, et évidemment, il y a beaucoup de dépit là, dans le regard entre les 2 pilotes. Mais maintenant, il va falloir évidemment cravacher pour revenir dans le peloton. Parce que là, ils vont laisser passer des grosses opportunités. Raphaël Moreau qui était 3e hein, dans le classement. Raphaël Moreau et Elio Gilter qui étaient en 5e position. Ça va leur coûter cher.
You cannot win a ticket to the grand finals in this particular race. You can, however, ensure that you probably don't win a ticket in this race. Has that been the case for Elio Gilter and Raphael Moreau? And you just saw Rayan Gandor getting it all wrong coming through the pit S's. Now, I'm not sure if that was on his own or whether he had an assist, but Gandor, who was right on the cusp, crosses the line at the end of lap number 1 and I'm looking down the order. Where is Gandor? Oh, he's right down towards the back. Gandor is 31st. Gandor possibly has just been taken out of the main event. Syerson, Tobias Norman is also, he was one of the drivers that spun. He's 33rd. So Norman is in the danger zone. Gandor is in the danger zone. As you look at the 3-2-4 of Vivian Gionnet passing the Dream Racing kart of number 309, Matteo Rivals. That is for 3rd position. Langlois leads Sadursky at the front. Further back, great start for Roman Saye. Great start for Rian Damadasa, Brandon Truman. So Truman and Damadasa are doing everything they need to do at the moment. Sri Lanka could have a driver in the International Trophy Senior Final for the first time ever. Wolfit on the cusp, coming in 35th in points. He is up to 13th place. Coming down the back straight. Oh, and a problem going on to the banking. There is a driver who is in a little bit of difficulty, and I'm trying to see who that is. That might... Driver getting dragged off the circuit, still in the kart, and he is... Let's have a look. Who was that? Was that Thomas Verheyen? Charlie King's in trouble. King out of the race. Charlie King will not go through. He was 37th in points, 1 place out of the main event. He's done. Drama here in the early goings. Thomas Verheyen. And let's have a look. Where was Thomas Verheyen? Verheyen was out. He wasn't a factor anyway. Tobias Norman now out of the race. Tobias Norman not in the final despite starting today in 29th position.
Allez, Tom Langlois qui reprend le leadership sur Max Sadurski, qui a été passé en tête. Et là, quand Tom Langlois est passé, il a regardé Sadurski en lui disant: allez, maintenant on y va, on arrête de se chamailler et on y va. Vivien Guyonnet, lui, est revenu étant en 3e position avec Arthur Robin et Matteo Rivals qui ferme la marche de ce groupe de 5 pilotes qui s'est détaché. Derrière, on voit Garcia Lopez, le pilote espagnol, qui essaye de faire la jonction, mais il y a encore pas mal d'écart à boucher. Il emmène Barthélemy, Revers, Babiškova et Ruben Moya, le pilote espagnol qui complète le top 10. Ruben Moya qui paye un départ d'une grille un peu lointain, et forcément ça met du temps à revenir aux avant-postes. Moya avait été assez rapide hier, mais malheureusement il avait connu quelques déboires, d'où sa position sur la grille.
Unseen by us and unnoticed is the departure from the lead group of Macaulay Bishop. Bishop has fallen back to 17th place. There's the move from Sadurski. New leader, Max Sadurski for the SP Motorsport team. Langlois second, Gionnet, Robin third and fourth. Rivals is there in fourth. The top 5 are clear. Aaron Garcia Lopez is now in 6th position. Ahead of Bartholomew, Jeremy Roivers, Babičkova, Truman, Brandon Truman from 39th in points. He's up into the top 10. He is racing his way in. Do you know who else is doing an absolutely outstanding job? Is number 410, Lewis Sumner, from the X-Kart team, on their first race outside of the UK, their first race without the X-Kart chassis. Lewis Sumner has come from 33rd to 13th. Now, he's not going to make the main event, but he is going to give that entire team, Matty Street and the rest of the crew, a huge boost with this drive.
Allez, on essaye de revenir sur la tête de course pour Vivien Guyonnet, et c'est toujours la bagarre entre Sadurski et Langlois. Sadurski qui a repris les commandes de la course, et attention peut-être à la réplique de Tom Langlois au freinage du virage du Technopark. Non, ça ne passe pas. On est maintenant du côté du virage du paddock avec derrière Vivien Guyonnet qui évidemment profite de ces passes d'armes entre les deux hommes de tête pour revenir, et qui l'emmène derrière lui Arthur Robin en 4e position et Matteo Rivals 5e. Il y a quand même 4 pilotes français pour un pilote néerlandais. Est-ce qu'on va assister à une victoire tricolore? En tout cas pour l'instant, c'est passé pour Tom Langlois au freinage du virage des deux arbres. Tom Langlois qui reprend le leadership, mais attention, Sadurski n'a certainement pas l'intention d'abdiquer. Il reste 4 minutes.
Langlois returns the favour on Sadurski at turn 3 to retake the lead. Oh, and there is Arthur Robin grabbing 4th place from, Matteo Rivals inherits 3rd position after Robin sends Gionnet up the banking with an aggressive move. We've had further drama back at the danger zone because Rian Damadasa, who was in the main event, has had a problem. He's down to 28th. Sri Lanka will not have a driver in the senior final. Now, let's look up there. Lewis Sumner still running in 30. Jack West Let's have a look. 25th on the grid. He's running 15th ahead of Macaulay Bishop. Charlie Wolfett. Ethan Thorne's had a storming drive as well. Ethan Thorne on his Sodi kart, the Peruvian driver marching forward, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough for Ethan Thorne. Charlie Wolfett started 18th, running 18th. That gold chain is, well, it's covered with beads of nervous sweat at the moment. Wolfett needs to gain a couple of positions to give him some breathing room, and Rayan Gandor is driving magnificently because he's back into the top 20. Well, we saw Gandor on lap number 1 get pushed back to 31st. The KR Sportman from Canada is now on an absolute mission back to the top 18. He's got 2 places to go. Can he secure himself a place? Moreau, 24th, is still in. Giltier in 27th is still in, but they will not be featuring near the front. And we've got at least, well, Tobias Norman will not make it, neither with Charlie King. Who is going to take, well, Brandon Truman is going to take Tobias Norman's place in the top 36. Who else could do something magnificent in the last 2 minutes to make the main event?
Tom Langlois qui reprend donc le lead et qui effectue un nouveau passage, mais non pas un dernier. Il aimerait bien que ça soit le dernier, mais c'est pas encore le dernier. Tom Langlois donc devant Sadurski, mais on le voit bien, hein, le pilote néerlandais qui n'a pas l'intention de terminer deuxième. Il harcèle constamment Tom Langlois. Oui, attention, un accrochage du côté de Matteo Rivals qui...
No, Roivers' bumper is hanging off. So that was Jeremy Roivers crashing. Sorry, Eric. And Jeremy Roivers' bumper's hanging off. That was Roivers crashing with, I think, Arthur Robin.
Ouais, Rivals et Robin qui se sont accrochés à la sortie du virage des 2 arbres. On va voir ce que ça va donner au niveau des cartes et surtout des positions maintenant. Alors que Tom Langlois va... Ouais, ça c'est de nouveau accroché au freinage du Technopark. Alors qui est parti alors Roivers et Arthur Robin, ouais, qui descendent dans la hiérarchie. Arthur Robin et Jeremy Roivers là qui pointent au-delà de la 20e position maintenant.
Wow.
Et je me demande si c'est pas eux encore qui ont été dans le décor du côté du virage du Technopark.
Well, that's twice in one lap that Roivers and Robin have collected each other. I only saw the aftermath of the second accident at Virage Technopark. Roivers has been so quick. He leads the European trophy standings, but he will not be... Well, let's have a look. Roivers and Robin still should make the main event, but 2 crashes with each other on the same lap, that tells a story. I'm not quite sure. And Roivers' rear bumper is hanging off, so Roivers, as the clock strikes 0, will undoubtedly... And Robin is right behind Roivers going into turn number 1. We're not seeing it on our screen, probably just as well, for karting's sake, I have to say. And that will be the all she wrote for Robin and Roivers. Meanwhile, their collisions have brought Rayan Gandor back into 19th place. Wolfett up to 16th. There's 2 drivers. Lewis Sumner is now in the top 10. There's the technical flag for Roivers. The clock has struck 0. Let's concentrate on the positives. Langlois and Sadurski lead on to the final lap.
Allez, nous sommes rentrés dans le dernier tour avec Tom Langlois qui est aux commandes, avec Sadurski toujours dans son sillage, qui ne lâche pas l'affaire. Un petit peu plus loin derrière, on retrouve Matteo Rivals et derrière lui désormais Bakikova, pour cette 4e position. Garcia Lopez est 5e et Barthélémy 6e. Du côté de la tête de course, Langlois qui en maîtrise. Je ne pense pas que malheureusement pour lui, Sadurski soit en mesure d'inquiéter le Français pour la victoire. Et Tom Langlois qui va, par cette victoire, sécuriser sa première position au classement provisoire avant, évidemment, la Supermanche B dans cette catégorie senior. Voilà, c'est fait. Tom Langlois qui s'impose devant eh bien, Max Sadurski qui était parti depuis la 5e position, hein, depuis la 3e ligne, donc un bon départ. C'est vrai que ça a été un petit peu chaotique dans ce premier virage.
Tom Langlois will start the main event, I am sure, from pole position. Well, let's have a look. I'm pretty sure that Tom Langlois has just secured pole position. In fact, yes, he has, for the main event. What a drive, what a week's work so far for Langlois on the Sodi kart for the Sodi kart team. Great set of drives from Langlois, Sadurski, Rivals, Teresa Babic-Kova, unseen, very quietly, very stealthily moves into 4th position. Do not count out that young lady. Now, here's the interesting ones. Will we see Jack West? I think he was a bit too far back, but you never know. Ethan Thorne, Charlie Wolfit, in. Brandon Truman, 11th, in. Lloyd Hare, Lloyd Hare, no, he dropped the 24th. He won't make it. Rayan Gandor, 20th. Big, fat question mark over Gandor, but let's not forget he was 31st at the end of lap number 1. Aaron Garcia Lopez is in, and I'm looking at Christian Sierson. He gained 6 places. I'm not sure that'll be enough. And what about Lewis Sumner? Right, 410. There he is in the black and white race suit. Second kart up. He's got the black and white go-kart, just taking his race suit up now. That driver should be very, very proud of himself, as should Louis Harvey, Matty Street, and the rest of the X-Kart team. Their first sojourn into Europe. They're not going to make the main event, but hey, everybody knew they were here, and that's all that counts. Let's check out the highlights.
I've seen a few mechanics looking at their stopwatch during the last superheat. We smashed the qualifying record in Senior Max from Wednesday night. Teresa Babakova, first of all, and then, of course, there were a couple of other drivers on the grid after this during that race that also broke that record.
Yeah, those Mojo D5s, the Prime Mojo tyre, they keep on giving and giving and giving, don't they? Well, the tyres on these karts, they're in their last race because the senior finalists get a new set of boots for the final. Here is your starting lineup. Sean Butcher and Boaz Maximov, row number 1. Leon Hasty and Austin Lee, row 2. Hugo Martinello and Simon Perigny, row 3. Arno Saboyin and Harry Freeman are next. Then it's Titouan Nescaye and Dragos Avesel-Kute. Albi Lapper and Marco Bernardi on row 6. Rayan Bourguignon and Hugo Lacroix. Mathis Parlant and George Nassar. Okay, Parlant and Nassar. 30th and 32nd in points coming into today. Sver Uben, 34th in points, and Matthias Joseph on row number 9. Uben and Joseph, the last two drivers currently in the main event. Now, row 10, Pablo Estevez and Noah Janssen. They need maybe a handful of positions to make themselves secure of a place. Ruben Morel and Teo Giloteo, likewise, they need to move forward. Now we're on to those drivers that need a big swing. Mehdi Lesue and Tom Cave. Mateus Kjellrup, Michael Soltis, Alexandro Parodi and Vico Matej. Here are the hit and hopers. Armstrong, Hoche, Kudel, Morris, Comin, Kalapax, Kubrick and Canal. We've had drama in the first senior superheat. This is the last superheat of the day of the event. Butcher fighting effectively for a place on the outside the front row for the final alongside Langlois. Into the tram lines, we're off and racing. Butcher gets a great start. Hasty right behind him, falls into line. Maximov, not a great initial getaway, but comes back strongly around the outside of turn number 1 to slot into 4th position. And there's a Dream Racing kart. Is that Hugo Martinello? Number 310, yes it is. He's made an excellent getaway. He is up into P3.
Leon Hasty est en tête. Il est parti de la deuxième ligne, mais il a réussi à se glisser dans un trou de souris au premier virage et ensuite porter son attaque au virage numéro 3. C'est lui maintenant qui mène la course, mais attention, on ne vient évidemment que de partir et ça risque encore de bouger, bien évidemment. On l'a vu tout à l'heure avec la super manche groupe A de cette catégorie senior. Il y a toujours des mouvements de course et du spectacle dans cette catégorie. Et Leon Hasty qui va donc boucler le premier tour en tête devant Sean Butcher et Martinello.
Now, you could see Butcher there signalling to Leon Hasty quite angrily in a way, because Butcher won't mind if Leon Hasty wins this race, because Butcher will still qualify on the front row for the final. Leon Hasty needs to realise that, well, Leon Hasty, first-year senior driver, has just been taught the lesson by Sean Butcher, I've got to say. Now, Butcher, he would have been happy to push Hasty as long as Hasty's not defending, because Hasty could win this race and he would be third. Oh, actually, I tell a lie. Because of the extra points, Hasty could have started on the front row. That's why Leon was Hasty. Scrub that. Butcher didn't teach Hasty a lesson. Hasty is trying to do his own thing, so apologies for that. I got that one wrong. Butcher has 336 points as things stand, and Hasty 316. If Hasty wins, I was right. If Hasty wins, he moves on to 326, and if Butcher comes second, he stays on 336. So Butcher was right initially. It doesn't matter now, because Butcher's in the race lead.
Allez, Butcher qui mène devant Hasty et c'est un petit peu la la guerre entre les deux Britanniques parce que, eh bien, en fonction du résultat de cette super manche, eh bien, ça déterminera aussi la place sur la grille de la finale. Oula, alors qu'il y a un kart qui est arrêté là, le 300.
That is an MKC kart number 365.
365 donc qui est arrêté.
Oh, 355, sorry. Oh, I don't know. We'll double check on that kart.
Allez, pendant ce temps-là, ça s'explique. Dans le groupe de chasse derrière Butcher et Asti, on est un peu à la bagarre et ça part un petit peu dans tous les sens. Vous le voyez, hein, je vous avais dit, ça nous promet du spectacle. Eh bien, je ne vous ai pas menti parce qu'on a l'impression que tout ce peloton est en train d'aller chercher les pilotes qui sont devant. On a l'impression d'avoir un essaim de guêpes et d'être dans le premier tour. Regardez un peu ce peloton, c'est incroyable.
Sorry, Eric. Just off screen, you're looking, there was a huge, you could see dust at the bottom of the corner. There was about 20 carts all trying to get into turn 3 at the same time. And 2 of them have had a major problem. Titouan Hoche, oh, there is the retirement of Alexandra Parodi. Where was Parodi? He was out of the top 36. He will not make the main event. Titouan Hoche, straight black flag. Hoche out of the race, out of the main event.
Allez, nouveau passage des leaders et donc comme vous l'avez entendu de la part d'Henry, Titouan Hoche qui a été eh bien exclu de la course au drapeau noir. Donc Titouan Hoche exclu de la course au drapeau noir, il ne pourra pas donc poursuivre cet après-midi en finale. Pendant ce temps-là, eh bien, Butcher et Asti sont partis loin devant. Et Butcher et Asti, pour l'instant, c'est Butcher qui serait en première ligne avec Tom Langlois. Asti s'élancerait depuis la deuxième ligne. Voilà, donc à voir si maintenant, si Leon Asti prend le meilleur sur Butcher, si ça influera sur sa position sur la grille de départ de la finale. C'est aussi pour ça que devant, eh bien, on se bat. Mais pour l'instant, Sean Asti, eh bien, n'entend pas laisser n'entend pas laisser Leon Asti passer parce qu'il conserverait eh bien, sa place sur la première ligne de la finale. Et ça, évidemment, ça a un intérêt primordial dans la course au ticket pour la grande finale de Portimao.
Well, all calm now at the front. You're looking at Boaz Maximov running P3 and Hugo Martinello running P4. Butcher and Hasty are 4 seconds in front of this duo. Behind this duo, Albi Lapper runs 5th, and he leads a train comprising Arnaud Saboyin, Simon Perigny, Titouan Lascaye, Hugo Lacroix, Rayan Bourguignon. Austin Lee and Dragos Avisakute are next in line. Now this is where things get interesting because one of the drivers, the Titouan Hoche, cleaned out that resulted in him getting a black flag was Matthias Joseph. The driver 36th in points has been eliminated. So he is not going to make the main event. Svir Uben has dropped back to 27th. It is unlikely that Uben will make the main event. Matisse Parlant, another driver, dropping to 25th. He was 30th in points. He probably won't make the main event as things stand. Who does that open the door for? Well, it opens the door for Pablo Estevez and Noah Janssen. They started this race 38th and 40th in points. They've gained 6 places each. They're running 13th and 14th in this race. Mikhail Soltis making a bid for the main event. He has come up from 52nd in points and 26th on the grid to run in 18th. Mehdi Lesoué also gaining a lot of positions. Can that Frenchman make it in as well? Lots of chopping and changing in this one for this, and this is all over the last 3 or 4 rows on the grid for the main event.
Allez, ça s'est décanté en tête de l'épreuve avec toujours ce duo britannique aux avant-postes avec Butcher devant Hasty. Et je pense que les deux compères et les deux compatriotes ont compris qu'il valait mieux en rester là. Ça ne remettra pas beaucoup en cause la hiérarchie. Et de toute façon, même Leon Hasty en terminant deuxième s'élancera en principe de la deuxième ligne tout à l'heure de la finale. Donc c'est loin d'être une très mauvaise performance. Derrière, on retrouve Maximoff et Martinello, eux aussi lancés dans un duo. Martinello qui va tenter peut-être d'aller chercher le pilote qui est devant lui, Maximoff, parce que Martinello pour l'instant il est sixième. Il s'élancerait depuis la troisième ligne. Est-ce que s'il passe devant Maximoff, ça lui permettrait de gagner une ligne? J'en suis pas sûr. Donc autant minimiser la prise de risque en cette fin d'épreuve. Il reste moins de 3 minutes à parcourir dans le temps réglementaire, et donc pour Martinello c'est plutôt une bonne situation. Ensuite on retrouve Albi Lapper et Sabourin, le pilote canadien, qui devance ensuite Périgny, Lacroix, l'Escalier et Bourguignon.
2.5 minutes plus a lap remaining. The leaders start what will be their 10th lap. Butcher ahead of Hasty. Sean Butcher 53.752. Butcher looks set to start alongside Tom Langlois at the front row of the main event. We're looking a little bit further back, the 3-2-3 cart. That would be Rayan Bourguignon chasing Titouan Nescaye and holding off Dragos Avesakute. Avesakute there in 11th place has got the 4:07 of Austin Lee right behind him. Then it's Noah Janssen. Janssen just needs to stay where he is. So does Pablo Estevez, because they're both in the main event as things stand. Freeman in 15th, Nassar in 16th. Nassar's just in a purple middle sector. The Lebanese-born UAE-based driver, 3 wide, Perigny to the inside, Lapper in the middle, and round the outside of all of them. Well, there we go. Arnaud Saborin has found some aggression. Blisteringly quick in qualifying, has spent most of the last 2 days just letting people through and not defending. Now he starts defending, and Perigny is the driver that gets caught out. Perigny sticks his nose where Saborin didn't want it. Saborin took his line. Perigny has just spun his hopes of glory here today down the drain.
Ah, ça a été chaud là entre Sabourin et Périgny, et malheureusement Sabourin Sabourin qui a défendu sa position, et Périgny malheureusement qui est parti à la faute et qui va plonger dans la hiérarchie de cette super manche. Simon Périgny, là je regarde un peu la dégringolade sur mon écran, il est 25e désormais, Simon Périgny. C'est dommage parce qu'il avait une bonne place à jouer ici dans le top 7. Malheureusement, avec cet accident ou cet accrochage ou cette péripétie, c'est comme vous voulez, là il va perdre de gros points qui vont certainement l'handicaper pour cet après-midi pour la finale.
Well, there we go. Looking at the first up, KR Sport cart number 392, Arnaud Saborin, finding his aggression just at the right time. You've got to know when, who's saying you've got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Was that Kenny Rogers? I'm not sure. However, Saborin spent most of the day folding. Today, he is holding firm in 5th position. Great driving. There is the number 318 cart. So there's Saborin. Albi Lapper right behind him. This is 5th, 6th, and then Titouan Lescaye in the number 318 cart running in 7th place. Lacroix, Bourguignon, Lee, Avisakute and Freeman are next in line. No change between Janssen and Estevez. They're holding on 13th and 14th. That will be good enough, I should imagine. I'm predicting, yes, it will be good enough. What about Mehdi Lesue and Teo Giloteo? What about Matthias Kellerup and Mikel Soltis? Because they are running 16th, 17th, 18th and 19th, and they've all gained 7 positions based on where they've started. that has come at the expense of Parlant and Uben and Perigny. Perigny should still make it, but he won't be a factor. This driver is going to be a factor though, Eric. Sean Butcher driving. I would characterise Sean Butcher's driving style as majestic. Drivers have different styles, you get used to them. Butcher looks simply majestic in that kart.
Allez, Butcher qui va aller chercher cette victoire et qui va aller chercher une première ligne pour la finale. Et ça va être une bonne chose pour le Britannique. Derrière, Leon Stee, lui, bien, va se contenter de cette deuxième position qui lui assure une place sur la deuxième ligne de la grille de la finale. Et en troisième position, on va retrouver Boaz Maximov. Et derrière, un groupe de furieux emmené par Martinello, Sabourin, Lapers, l'Escalier, Lacroix-Bourguignon et Freeman finalement dans ce dernier tour gagne une position, il est 10e. Austin Lee 12e, Avicilicuete 13e, Nassar 13e, Esteves 14e et c'est Mehdi Lasoued qui termine 15e. Mehdi Lasoued qui partait de très loin après avoir été malheureux hier pendant les manches. Est-ce que ça lui permettra d'aller jusqu'en finale, d'assurer une place en finale? On va attendre le verdict des chronométrages officiels et on verra. Mais en tout cas, Mehdi Lasoued qui devrait partir, s'il participe à la finale, devrait partir d'assez loin malheureusement pour lui.
So, Sean Butcher books his place on the front row of the grid of the main event. This result screen is very, very interesting and unofficially, and this is me doing maths in my head, which is always a danger. I think that the disaster that just befell Matthias Joseph, Sver Uben and Matthias Parlant, although Parlant recovers to 19th place, I think that Uben and Joseph, Uben 21st, Joseph a DNF, that should be enough for Rayan Gandour after a storming recovery drive in Superheat 1 to just squeeze in to the main event. Well, we'll show you some highlights, and then, before we finish for lunch, we'll tell you about the next couple of international trophy events that you might want to watch back home, or if you're a driver, you might want to enter to try and get a Grand Finals ticket.
Votre attention s'il vous plaît, on a rapporté une clé de voiture, une clé qui concerne une
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the dummy grid is now empty. But the racing is not over. And in terms of Rotax racing, the racing is never over, because each week there is an RMC event somewhere in the world. Not all of them have tickets available for the grand finals. Many of them are national championship rounds, and it's the end of the championship season where the champion gets the ticket. But like the RMC International Trophy at Le Mans, there are a number of continental international trophies, one-off races with tickets to the grand finals available in each class. The next international trophy is the RMC International Trophy South America in Uruguay between October the 6th and the 10th, 2026. And if you go on to the RMC International Trophy South America Instagram site, you will see the track layout. And the track layout, 1.5 kilometers long in Uruguay. Arrive and race packages are available. And of course, it will be live streamed in both Spanish and in English. Thank you to Nicholas Alagia for organising my first visit to Montevideo later this year. So 6 tickets available at the International Trophy South America, expecting an entry in the region of 280 drivers. After the 2026 South America Trophy, the first tickets available for the 2027 Grand Finals will be held in Macau at the 2027 RMC International Trophy Asia. 6 tickets once again, Micro, Mini, Junior, Senior, DD2 and DD2 Masters. The Coloane International Kart Circuit in Macau at the January the 21st to the 24th, 2027. It is one of the world's most unique kart circuits. It's government owned, which means it is protected. Macau, famous for its street race, its Formula 3 race, its sports car race. It is equally famous for its go-karting, which is why the Coloane International Circuit sits right in the middle of the city. And there are high-rise flats, office buildings all around the circuit. There is a monorail that actually literally crosses over the drivers virtually down at turn number 2. It is a very unique venue. It is a very, very unique and incredibly interesting country to go and visit. And arrive and race packages are available for international drivers. If you want to learn more about Rotax Racing and all the RMC events, please go to our website, rotax-racing.com, and our social media hashtags are all at Rotax Karting. Hopefully, we will see you, if not on track, but on the live stream at the next 2 international trophies coming up. Thank you. We will be back for the start of the main events. The first main event is due out at 2 p.m. local time. We will be back on air a little while before that, because the second biggest Rotax race anywhere in the world is coming to a conclusion. Who will be the 2026 RMC International Trophy Le Mans champions? Well, you've got to come back at 2 o'clock local time to find out.